5AA.
Sunny and 34 with the 6 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
FIVEAA Extra for Locomat robotic technology treating stroke, cerebral palsy, brain and spinal cord injuries. Visit physioextra.com.
The Premier's under mounting pressure to call a royal commission into domestic violence after yet another death, the 6th in 18 days. The body of 85-year-old Maria Damasi was found at her Findon home on Saturday night. Her 91-year-old husband's in hospital under police guard with non-life-threatening self-inflicted injuries. The much-loved great-grandmother was a well-known Italian identity whose family owns the Nonna's Cucina meal service. The Premier has committed to holding a roundtable before Christmas. A US warship and multiple commercial ships have been attacked in the Red Sea. The Pentagon's Brigadier General Pat Ryder says the White House is aware of the attacks on the USS Carney and other commercial vessels.
We are certainly taking appropriate force protection measures to ensure the safety of our troops. Again, I'm not going to get into specifics. Clearly, this is an uptick in terms of the types of drone activity we've seen in Iraq and Syria.
Tougher migration rules and the National Disability Insurance Scheme will be among the key issues to dominate the final sitting week of federal parliament. Michael Packey's in Canberra.
The Albanese government is planning to expand preventative detention rules so they not only apply to terrorists, but the cohort of asylum seekers recently released from indefinite detention. Under the revised laws, convicted murderers and sex offenders may be ordered back into custody, but each matter would have to be determined by a judge, not a government minister. The rules will be debated this week and are expected to pass on Thursday. The Prime Minister will also hold a national cabinet meeting with the premiers where the future of NDIS funding will be discussed.
The Australian Competition Tribunal will meet today to decide the fate of an almost $5 billion bank merger. Earlier this year, the tribunal rejected ANZ's bid to purchase Suncorp. That decision will be the subject of a 9-day appeal beginning today. The first heatwave of summer's upon us, with 4 days above 30 kicking off today. We'll see temperatures rise to 34 today, while a cool change is expected to sweep across the state on Friday, bringing some relief. Firefighters are reminding us about the dangers of lithium-ion batteries. 3 people are in hospital after an explosion inside a share house in Sydney's inner west. Crews rushed to the Annandale apartment with more than 100 residents forced to evacuate from the complex. Fire and Rescue Superintendent Scott Donoghue says crews believe the blaze started after an e-bike battery exploded.
Currently being investigated. The cause and origin are under investigation, but there is suggestion that it has something to do with an e-bike explosion.
There are major concerns for the future of the Commonwealth Games after the Gold Coast Mayor Tom Tate pulled the pin on his plan to host them. He's blaming a lack of support from state and federal governments after Victoria abandoned the event due to costs. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderroll Garage Doors new Platinum and Native Series sectional doors are here. Gliderroll.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Australia has lost the 5th and final T20 match against India, going down in a thriller by 6 runs. Chasing 161 to win, the Aussies could only manage 8 for 154, meaning they lose the 5-match series 4-1. To football, and Brisbane are AFLW champions after beating North Melbourne by 17 points. The Lions trailed by 7 points at the final change, but booted 4 goals to none in the final term to claim the flag. To golf, and Chile's Joaquin Niemann has won this year's Australian Open after a thrilling final round in Sydney. He beat Japan's Rikio Hoshino on the second playoff hole, while last week's winner of the Australian PGA Championship, Minwoo Lee, finished 2 shots back in 3rd place. To soccer, and Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham have played out a thrilling 3-3 draw against Manchester City this morning to break a run of 3 consecutive losses. Meantime, Liverpool has scored 2 late goals to beat Fulham 4-3 at Anfield. Trent Alexander-Arnold with the match winner in the 88th minute.
Gakpo shoots! Nunez keeps it alive! The strike is there, and it's Alexander-Arnold! Who gets it for Liverpool? What a moment for Trent Alexander-Arnold and for Liverpool, so close to the end!
Amazing stuff. Commentary on Optus Sport. Elsewhere, Chelsea beat Brighton 3-2. Bournemouth and Aston Villa played out a 2-2 draw. while West Ham and Crystal Palace also shared the points with a 1-1 draw. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
When you've earned your dream bathroom, speak to Bathrooms by Design, Clovelly Park and Lonsdale.
A sunny day heading for 34, partly cloudy tomorrow 30, more of the same on Wednesday 32 and 35 for Thursday. At the moment 22. More news as it happens on 5AA.
This Christmas will look a lot different for struggling families and vulnerable members of our community. The ongoing cost of living crisis makes it impossible to put a decent family meal on the table. And keeping a roof over their heads is getting harder and harder. People shouldn't be hungry, anxious and desperate this Christmas. Vinnie's needs your help to give emergency support this Christmas. Head to vinnies.org.au or call 13 18 12 to donate.
I was just doing my job. I didn't think I'd get injured.
The doctor said it was a routine procedure? Right.
The car came out of nowhere and it smashed right into us.
At DBH Lawyers, we're here to listen to your story. Our team of local South Australian lawyers will help you navigate the law and find the best way forward. We're with you. We're for you. We're DBH Lawyers. dbh.com.au.
Matty B loved popping monos on his sister's 3-speed Malvern Star. It was a beautiful bike, purple with neon pink tassels and a rainbow seat, but Matty B didn't care. He was popping monos all the way up the street without a care in the world. He was unique like that. That's, though, when it came to him just before he hit a parked car.
You call that an epiphany. It was at that point that Matty figured out how to make the best pie in the world. It was a promise he'd made to himself after tasting the worst pie in the world from a local tuck shop. And he got straight to work just after he got out of hospital.
Many years later, the best pies in the world go by the name Unique, a bit like Matty B. Get your new Unique pie, sausage rolls and donuts from your local independent supermarket or wherever great food is sold.
Unique. It's time for something better.
Hi, it's Hazel from Physio Extra. If you're in pain today because you had a big weekend on the footy field, on the court or in the garden, give us a call today for a same-day appointment. For example, if you rolled your ankle, try and stay off it as much as possible, compress it and add a little bit of ice. When you come in for your appointment, we might ask you questions like if you heard any sounds, if you've hurt the area before, or if you've done anything similar on the opposite side.
It's the extra in Physio Extra that makes all the difference. Visit physioextra.com for your nearest location or call for a same-day appointment.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
8 up to 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Monday on 5AA Breakfast, and we've got a show for you this morning. Headlined by Sir Tom Jones, who's going to be joining us after 7:30 today. If you're a fan of Tom Jones music, just make sure you're wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you're listening to 5AA Breakfast at 7:30 this morning, because ahead of his concert in Adelaide next year, he joined us for a chat after 7:30 today. Also, we'll be talking a bit about music today. We'll head to the US and talk about Kiss's final ever live performance, or is it? I wouldn't put my house on it, that's for sure. Lots of news going around Adelaide, Australia and the world coming out of the weekend that we'll get you across. But one of the big stories that did come out was sad in a sense, albeit a remarkable life and a long life. Chuck Fowler died at the age of 103. Now, we spoke with him only recently, before Anzac Day, and it remained one of the most interesting interviews. Every time we chatted with him, it was fascinating. He told his story with passion, in depth. He was incredibly lucid. We're going to play it for you after 8:30 today. You're going to hear from the great Chuck Fowler after 8:30, after he sadly did die at the age of 103 over the weekend. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. Yeah, the fact that he was 103 years old, which is a hell of a knock. I can't think of too many people who've beaten that. But that itself tells the story that you can count these blokes on one hand now. The POW generation, guys who were captured by the Japanese after the fall of Singapore and, enslaved on the Thai-Burma Railway, incarcerated in Changi. It's a story I sort of grew up knowing about through a first-hand friendship that came through the sheer luck of landing an excellent next-door neighbour in Bill Schmidt, who for a long time was the head of the POWs Association here in South Australia. And, the thing is, when you talk to guys like Bill or guys like Chook, the thing that really strikes me is their capacity to forgive.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that. Like, when you think about... I mean, I don't think they ever actually really let the specific people who did what they did off the hook in terms of... but to recognise that, nations can go down really evil paths, but then have a reckoning and go, we're never doing that again. I found it remarkable how people like Chook managed to, go to Japan and meet with soldiers who they fought against. It's extraordinary.
Post-war Japan, a very different place to pre-war Japan as well. And look, if you can, surviving POW, prisoner of war camps, is one thing. Surviving a Japanese prisoner of war camp is very different. The statistics are just hellish about how much more. It's funny. There was a big study done once about the conditions of POW camps, and it found by the time of the Second World War, they were all pretty much your survivability rate, the likelihood you were going to die of various things, how much torture and nasty stuff went on, was kind of the same whether you were a German in an American prisoner of war camp or an American in a Nazi prisoner of war camp, except for the Japanese ones.
Yeah,
they were total outliers in how awful they were.
And that came down to human cruelty.
That was right. That was the culture. That was part of the culture. This idea, well, if you've surrendered,
you're weak.
What honour do you have?
Yeah,
it was a cultural thing.
Yeah, okay.
But so what I'm saying is, he surviving it is, and the members of his machine gun battalion that managed to do so is an incredible story. I was reading a piece this morning. In fact, the virtual war memorial I was digging around on today. It's fantastic. On the online site. Once upon a time, you could only get this information going in person to the War Memorial, but you can go to the virtual War Memorial now and read everyone's records. And I was reading some of the stories about Keith Fowler and about the 2nd, 3rd Machine Gun Battalion that was attached to the 7th Division ultimately. And one of the pieces was written locally just recently. It is believed he was South Australia's last Japanese prisoner of war. So there's none. Now, according to the RSL, there aren't any.
He was the last one.
Now, there's someone that's not made themselves known and they're not public, but as far as the RSL is concerned here in South Australia, there aren't any left.
Well, that's why we're going to be playing the interview that we did. That was a fascinating afternoon. We came in especially to pre-record it ahead of Anzac Day 2022, wasn't it? It was last year.
I think it was last year, yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty much one of the last interviews that Chook Fowler ever gave. He marched this year, though. Incredible.
To the end.
Yeah. He looked like he had a good life, but if it's possible to say this, it looked like he had a good death too. Like, it sounds like he just passed away quietly. He expired, basically, and at 103 he got every right to expire. But when we caught up with him, he was lucid, he was mobile. He wasn't sitting here, gargling away.
No.
He was totally on top of things, firing on all cylinders, very funny, and great company. And it sounds like he's the classic person who's just died of what you'd have to call an extreme case of old age.
103 years of age. He's got... I wonder how many people are listening to us this morning from Fowler Lane in Somerton Park that was named after him. He was in the retirement village down there. It's known as Fowler Lane. It was in his honour on his 102nd birthday, I think, from memory. They changed the name of the street there. Right. To Fowler Lane. Mark,
we're getting... Oh, sorry, you go, Will.
Mark from Parry Hills in the Duttons text line says, rest in peace, Chook Fowler. What a life. And thank you for your service and sacrifice. You are a national hero. Absolutely. 0448 08 1395. That is the Duttons text line for this morning. You can call into Duttons, Mount Barker and Murray Bridge. Purchase a new or used vehicle and go into the draw to win $3,000. You can watch along on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream, or give us a call. We'd love to chat. 8223 0000.
City Discount Tires. Get saving this month at City Discount Tires. When you buy 3 Wild Peak AT3W all-terrain tires, you'll get the 4th tire free. The perfect tire for your next adventure. City Discount Tires are a proud multi-tire and wheel brand retailer offering great service at great prices. Visit citydiscounttires.com.au to find your nearest store. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires. There's hot chili cashews, smoked almonds and delicious spicy peanuts. Merry Christmas, folks. I'm Brett Charlesworth, and they're just 3 of the tantalising products we cook hot and fresh for you in every one of our Charlesworth Nuts stores. There's salted and unsalted nuts, there's spicy, hot chili and smokehouse flavoured, plus our range of designer mixes exclusive to Charlesworth's. Just follow the seductive aroma of freshly cooked nuts to one of our 11 family-owned stores or shop online. Why Charlesworth? Because fresh nuts taste better.
Wallace Cinemas is a family-owned South Australian business that prides itself on supporting its community.
Get back into your local Wallace Cinema and see movies like they should be seen on the big screen with magnificent Quake sound you can feel.
So grab a popcorn and a choc top and see all the movies on over the holidays. There's Wonka, Disney's Wish, Next Goaler Wins, Aquaman, Trolls Band Together and so much more.
Christmas Cine Savers are back too. You can pick up 5 movie tickets for only $60 on sale until December 24th. They've also got gift cards, e-gifts, movie meal deals and great little candy bar stocking stuffers. That is your Christmas shopping all done.
Wallace Cinemas, SA's home of magic and entertainment and Christmas gifts. Mitcham, Mount Barker, Noongar and the Piccadilly. wallace.com.au.
We understand not all small businesses are the same. That's why Nissan Fleet offers tailored vehicle solutions for your unique business needs. With dedicated fleet managers available across Australia, we're your local fleet experts, providing quality advice, support and customer service for the entire life of your vehicle fleet. Visit your local Nissan dealer or search Nissan Fleet today and we'll find the right business solution for you.
FIVEAA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to FIVEAA on Facebook or YouTube.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. This is 5AA Breakfast.
Seventeen minutes after 6, news headlines on this Monday, the 4th of December. Slain police officer Brevet Sergeant Jason Doig will be farewelled in a public memorial service today. The 53-year-old's life and 34-year career on the force will be celebrated at the Convention Centre from 11 a.m. After the service, mourners will form a guard of honour as his hearse is taken to the Torrens Parade Ground. Roads will close and tram services will halt temporarily. Jason Doig is the 3rd SA police officer to be killed on duty in 33 years. Members of the public can register online to attend the service or watch it via online streaming.
It's been 21 years since a cop had been shot in South Australia.
It's an amazingly rare occurrence, isn't it?
In South Australia. It hardly ever happens here. Should never happen at all, needless to say. But it would have been a long time compared to other states without a loss of life, and the circumstances, the cowardly circumstances under which it happened are just appalling. But, you know, needless to say too, what a miserable few weeks for Sopol.
Dry as a Bone has been a staple in Australian wardrobes for 125 years, and now it has a new owner. Western Australian billionaire mining magnate Gina Reinhardt has taken the helm, ensuring the brand stays in Australian hands. Here she was speaking on 7 News.
Preserve its magnificent past, but we also want to rejuvenate it. We want to grow it. We'd love to see this iconic brand overseas as well.
So just doing the roll call of Aussie clobber, so RMs and Akubras, they're Twiggy Forest.
Yes.
Because the Akubra story was the other day.
Mining interests?
Yeah. So now Bones, Gina Reinhardt has got them. Well, that's the entire Australian wardrobe pretty well taken care of, isn't it?
The mining industry owns Australian fashion.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. You ever worn a Bone?
No, I don't
You
think
ever
I
owned
have.
one?
No.
My dad bought one years ago. I think he bought it when they have that sale on at the show. We get all the half-price sort of country outfitter stuff. They're so heavy.
Yeah, they are really heavy duty, aren't they?
I don't think they really make terribly much sense unless you know, living in the actual highlands and, you know, going out herding brumbies or something. Where do you need a Bone living in Adelaide? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. If you're a farmer,
that's
like
different.
If you live
obviously.
in, you know, Clare or down the southeast where you wake up and it's -7 and you've got to go out and crutch sheep, then perfectly sensible owning a Bone there. But if you need to, you know, go down to the Unley shopping centre to buy some cheese, I don't know if you need a Bone.
Sam Daddo says they're an absolute staple at the V8s supercar events. As always, you can buy Bone there.
I suppose Bathurst is cold as charity.
Yeah, they work in Bathurst. The daily delivery of letters could be wound back as part of a restructure of Australia Post. Feels like we've been knocking this around for a long time now.
This is the world's oldest story.
It is, isn't it? Under the changes...
There's a cave painting of someone discussing this.
Under the changes, posties would deliver parcels each day and letters every second or third day. This is the...
Sometimes you go to Kakadu, someone's done a sort of blow art picture of someone not delivering mail every day.
It's the softest of soft launches, isn't it? I mean, they've floated this one.
Long time in the making.
Yeah, it really has been. Maybe that's the secret to, a PR disaster, is if you tease it for long enough, eventually people say, can we just do it?
Yeah. Maybe Optus should have done it with its phones.
Yeah, all right, just turn it off for a while, for God's sake.
Think about just not having phones for a day or so.
The Australian Competition Tribunal will meet today to decide the fate of an almost $5 billion bank merger. Earlier this year, the tribunal rejected ANZ's bid to purchase Suncorp Bank. The decision will now be the subject of a 9-day appeal beginning today. Brisbane will cash in on the success of the kids' cartoon Bluey, which is, of course, based there. An amusement park dedicated to the show is due to open next August. The multi-million-dollar park will feature a recreation of Bluey's Queenslander home, interactive play areas, and a soundtrack inspired by the show.
The whole Bluey thing's passed me by a bit. Maybe the kids are a little bit too old by the time it really took off. Well, that's not even true. I don't know. It's just never been a thing in our house.
The thing,
what's your go-to kid show?
Well,
now?
Rosie's obsessed with the Wiggles at the moment, and Mrs. Rachel, the YouTuber.
Don't know Mrs. Rachel.
Yeah, she's sort of taken the place of Sesame Street. It's all letters and saying mum and dad and singing songs.
Did she get into the Teletubbies at all?
No.
Yeah, that's weird.
She doesn't know they exist.
That's good. It's good to pretend that some things aren't actually.
Yes, that's not real.
Out there. No, that's not true.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah. But the people who made that, they're clearly massive pack of drug addicts. Like, it's just completely off the charts. They should have, I reckon if they raided them, they would have found heaps of LSD.
It stands in contrast to Bluey then, because all the adults I know that get their kids into Bluey, the kids go, oh, this is pretty good, and they watch it for 5 minutes. And it's the adults that go, should we put another one? Let's watch another one. Apparently it's brilliantly written.
Yeah, right.
And it's all written in a way that it's very, I'm told, relatable for adults, the entire thing. It's apparently quite clever. But I can't tell. I can't give sites.
I wonder if our listeners had any kids shows that they accidentally ended up liking themselves.
There's a good question. 8223 You can text us on the Duttons text line.
Go Gabba Gabba's quite good for really young kids.
Right.
But the good thing about it is they have really good bands on it. Because the guy who started the show is the lead singer of Devo. And in his dotage as a grandfather himself, he thought, I'm going to make a kids show that adults will like too.
We put on a Wiggles last night, and John Fogerty was singing on it.
Oh, no, the Wiggles did a lot of good collaborations.
It was excellent.
You know what's good too? Their mariachi ones are good.
The mariachi was on last night too, actually.
Yeah.
We're being asked to reimagine what retirement looks like. A new report suggests more retirees are drawing on income from part-time work rather than relying on super. That's according to a superannuation expert, Stephen Huppert, who says sourcing income elsewhere is going to become more common as the population ages.
Once upon a time, retirement might have been only a couple of years and fairly similar for most people. Now, with 10, 20, 30 years of retirement, we need to make sure individuals can live the type of retirement that they're looking for.
Well, that's all well and good, provided they're not punished by the tax system for doing so.
Completely, and it's all well and good if it's done by choice because people want to do it to earn a couple of extra bucks, but if it comes, the default retirement in Australia is actually just more work.
Yeah.
I think we're heading in the wrong direction. If it's by choice, great. If it's out of necessity, that's sad. 23 after 6, let's have a look outside. 34 degrees is the expected top today. Beautiful day out already this morning, 22.9 degrees. 30 tomorrow, 32 on Wednesday. So magnificent weather to start the week. 35 on Thursday, 29 on Friday, and then a change comes. Saturday, 21 with a possible shower. Sunday, 21 and partly cloudy as well. But gee whiz, it is hot to start this week.
We're going to be talking later too about I can't believe this, the 6th domestic violence victim in just 18 days in South Australia. It makes you sick. This poor old lady, Maria Damasi, on the front page of the Tiser, just unbelievable. It's a scourge, and are we doing enough about it? That's a live question.
We'll be jumping into after 7 o'clock today. All right, Tom Wren's in the 5AA Breakfast studio with us. Glider or Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Winners and losers, and we'll get into those. In fact, we'll start with a little bit of football. Brisbane, big winners. They've taken out the AFLW Premiership. It was a cracking grand final. North Melbourne led at every change. but Brisbane in the end get it done. 4-0 in the final quarter. So a good result there for the Lions. They've been runners-up, I reckon, 3 times, but now...
Mainly to Adelaide too.
Yeah, exactly. But now they've won it for a second time. So those two sides have easily been the sort of powerhouses of the competition thus far in the 8 seasons it's been going. So well done to Brisbane. A great result there for them. Joaquin Neiman also, will give him a big tick. He won the Australian Open on the men's side. It was a cracking final round. Won it in a playoff on the women's side. Ashley Buhai won it for the second straight year. So congratulations to both of them. Losers, Adelaide 36ers. They had a dreadful weekend. They started with a loss against New Zealand over there. I got to say, they weren't helped by the scheduling. They had to have a 4 a.m. flight out to get to their game in time. There were delays, so to get to Tasmania to play on the Saturday night...
It's rough.
And they played like a side that was tired. I mean, I think they were going to struggle anyway, but they scored 23 points in the first half. It was woeful. So they are now 4-10. Their season looks just about shot. Aussie cricketers, they went down overnight in their match against India T20 series. I know you've been on the edge of your seat with that one, Pembo. So they lost that series.
I've been taping them all on my VCR.
And the other one, I don't know. Now, it depends probably on which side of the fence you sit with this one. But Mitch Johnson is either a winner or a loser.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember a time where a former player, particularly one who was so sensitive to criticism from others, has been... And look, we love it. I think it's great that he's speaking so honestly, but he has savaged Dave Warner and the decision for him to play a farewell series. And also, the chairman of selectors, George Bailey, said it's a disgrace.
I can't think of a time we've ever seen it with a player. He was a contemporary of these guys.
That's right. 2015 World Cup teammates.
He played with Dave Warner. He played with George Bailey, who he had a crack at as a selector.
One of the great sessions in the history of Australian Test cricket, just down the road, him taking Alistair Cook apart that night. Remember that?
Yep, in the Ashes.
Oh, I sort of agree with a lot what he said, though, I've got to say.
I totally endorse almost every word that came out of his mouth, because what's made the Australian cricket team hard to love more than anyone over the last decade, it's been David Warner. And, you know, people bandy the term gaslighting around. Gaslighting means, and it's a real millennial term, it basically means planting seeds of doubt or creating psychological uncertainty in someone's mind. George Bailey's comments yesterday about Mitch Johnson was, I've seen what he said, I just hope he's okay. That's the ultimate gaslighting comment, because A, it's a lie, because he would hate him. He doesn't hope he's okay. So that's rubbish. But to suggest that Mick Johnson might have a screwies for saying this is actually like a form of gaslighting, because a lot of Australian people, you think about Sandpapergate. You know one of the worst things about Sandpapergate? It gave the Poms something valid to tease us about, because it was cheating. And Warner was up to his neck in it. So why does he get a send-off match?
No, it's not a send-off match. A send-off series.
Yeah, and also, like he also pointed out that the form recently has been, in the red ball format, has been poor. Okay in the one day. The other thing as well, on the same theme of not knowing whether he's a winner or loser, Tottenham this morning, one of the games of the season against Manchester City, 3-2 down, 90th minute, and then this happened for Spurs.
Looking for Brennan Johnson. Up against Kyle Walker. Kulusevski! It's another equaliser! 20 seconds to go of normal time. The belief of this Tottenham team is to be admired. They never accept the defeat. They always battle on. And they've made it 3-3.
So not a bad result. So a great game, 6 goals in it. Look, they're still winless now from their last 4 matches, but at least it's not a loss. They'd lost 3 in a row. So a better result. And against Manchester City, the favourites, defending champions, away from home, pretty solid result.
It was away as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's a significant result. That 1 point is something they can hang their hat on. They just needed something positive.
That's right.
Because it had all been bad news, be it injuries and disappointing results. So, that's good. Angie needed that.
Much better. And they get some players back next game as well, so that'll be good.
Great news. Good on you, Rennie.
Good on you,
Tom.
boys.
Gliderol Garage Doors' new Platinum and Native Series sectional doors are here. Gliderol.com.au. Geez, we're getting a lot of kids shows that adults like that are being nominated on the Duttons text line. We're going to read those out on the other side of 5AA News. Keep them coming in, 044808 1395, or you can call us on 8223 0000.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 34 with the 6:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Try Locomat robotic gait training technology for neurological issues at Physio Extra. Visit physioextra.com.
A 91-year-old man's expected to be charged with the murder of his wife at Findon on Saturday night. 85-year-old Maria De Marci, a respected cook and member of the Italian community, was found dead in the couple's home. It's believed she'd been stabbed. Her husband Frank was arrested and is in hospital with self-inflicted wounds. It's the 6th alleged domestic-related killing in SA in the past 18 days. Mrs. De Marci was well known for volunteering her time in her grandson's kitchen, Nonna's Cucina. A US warship's been targeted by missiles in the Red Sea. Edward Godfrey reports.
The incident is understood to have lasted around 5 hours between US naval forces and Yemen's Houthi militants. The details are still coming in, but a Pentagon spokesman has said the warship USS Carney and commercial vessels have been targeted in the Red Sea. The Carney shooting down a drone heading its way while it was responding to a distress call from a civilian commercial vessel. During the exchange, it also shot down a number of other drones and 3 cruise missiles. Yemen's Houthis say they targeted 2 Israeli ships. It's the same group that hijacked an Israeli-linked cargo ship in the Red Sea last month.
Coles and Woolies have denied price gouging, arguing costs are coming down as inflation moderates. The bosses of both supermarket chains will be asked to front a parliamentary inquiry next year. The Greens have secured Labor's support to establish the Senate probe. Green Senator Nick McKim says the companies will be asked to explain billion-dollar profits in the face of a cost of living crisis.
One thing about the Greens, we don't take corporate donations, so we can take on the big corporates, and we think that Coles and Woolies need to come in, front a Senate inquiry under oath and justify their pricing regime. And absolutely, we think there is prima facie evidence that they are price gouging.
A new report suggests more retirees are drawing on income from part-time work rather than relying on superannuation, savings and the age pension. Superannuation expert Stephen Huppert says sourcing income elsewhere will become more common as the population ages.
Once upon a time, retirement might have been only a couple of years and fairly similar for most people. Now with 10, 20, 30 years of retirement, we need to make sure individuals can live the type of retirement that they're looking for.
Adelaide fitness queen Kayla Atsinas has married her partner Jay Woodroff over the weekend. The Sweat app owner took to social media to announce she'd married her best friend and they couldn't be happier. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Brisbane has completed a come-from-behind victory over North Melbourne to claim its second AFLW flag. Trailing by 7 points at three-quarter time, the Lions kicked 4 unanswered goals to win by 17 points. Lions coach Craig Starcevich says he's both relieved and immensely satisfied.
Given everything that's transpired in the last 10 months, I guess, with getting the list together and, trying to work out what our best combo was over the 10 home and away games. But yeah, our last month's been very resilient and strong against good oppo.
Let's go to golf, and Chile's Joaquin Niemann is the Australian Open champion after claiming victory in a dramatic final round in Sydney. Several players look set to claim the trophy before Niemann and Japan's Rikuya Hoshino were sent into a playoff. Niemann prevailing with a 6-footer for birdie on the second extra hole.
Joaquin Niemann is the ISBS Handa Australian Open champion.
Audio there thanks to Fox. On the women's side, it was Ashley Buhai who took out the title. Well, Australia's cricketers have gone down to India in the 5th and final T20 match in Bengaluru, losing by 6 runs. It means the Aussies lose the series 4-1. And it was goals galore in the English Premier League overnight, with Tottenham and Manchester City playing out a 3-3 draw. Liverpool beat Fulham 4-3, while Chelsea got over Brighton 3-2. Bournemouth and Aston Villa played out a 2-2 draw. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
When you've earned your dream bathroom, speak to Bathrooms by Design, Clovelly Park and Lonsdale.
Sunny and 34 today, partly cloudy tomorrow, 30, more of the same on Wednesday, 32 and 35 for Thursday. At the moment, 23. More news as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
25 to 7, police and weather coming up this half hour. Off to the US as well. Ashley Mullaney from Miley Hogan, in fact, from 7 News is going to join us just before 7 o'clock today. We'll talk about Kiss's final performance and also really concerning development just overnight in the Red Sea, where a US warship was attacked by Houthi rebels. These are the same people that captured that Japanese container ship, saying it was because it was owned by an Israeli billionaire.
The
same mob.
Their sort of pirate-style raid.
You know they still are in possession of that ship?
Seriously?
They
It's like 2 weeks ago.
They're still in physical possession of that ship.
With the same crew on it?
Well, I'm not sure about the fate of the crew, but I know very much the actual ship, in reading about this current attack, is in their possession. But yeah, they broaden things out. These guys are linked to Iran. So the potential for escalation is obvious and clear. And it was, as you just said in 5AA News, a sustained attack. Went on for about 5 hours. We'll talk more about it with Miley just before 7 o'clock this morning. Let's get to some of these Duttons texts because they're excellent.
A couple off the back of the chat we were having with Tom about Mitch Johnson's attack on Dave Warner being granted his long-standing request for a lap of honour farewell series so an adoring nation can bid him adieu. Dave from Alberton speaking the same language as us. He says, if I had to pick between Mitch Johnson and Dave Warner coming over for a barbecue, I'd only have one question, and it's this: what would you like me to cook, Mitch? Good on you, Dave. And one here just saying, I won't follow cricket again until Warner, Smith and co. have gone. They ruined cricket for me. Thanks for that. There's a lot as well about adults who became big fans of kid shows. One here from Michael. Hey, guys. Bluey came on TV the other day, and I thought, what the heck, I'll see why my 8-year-old niece likes it so much. I found it to have a unique and almost mesmerising sense of Australian charm and humour. It was well written, and if I wasn't busy, I would have watched another episode. One here from Mark from Hewitt. It says, good morning, fellas. Check out the children's TV show produced here in Adelaide by Windmill Theatre Company. It's called Beep and More, and it's a wonderful show. Mike says The Flaming Thongs was a show that I stumbled across with the kids, Aussie Bogan animated series. One here defending the Teletubbies, saying they were adorable. One here from Robbie Norwood saying High Five. A lot of blokes used to watch High Five. And Mark in Conniver, Shaun the Sheep was my go-to at the age of 45.
Excellent. Keep them coming in, 044808 1395. We had a debate off air this morning as we were talking about the movie bowl. We wanted to do this morning, we thought we want to do a Christmas series of movies for Lucy to watch. We had started having a discussion about what are the most popular Christmas movies of all time. We realised it's actually a pretty big debate. And when we have big debates, we like to get the 5AA breakfast audience involved. What's your favourite Christmas movie of all time? We're going to compile the numbers on this, and we're going to the two highest we'll put in the movie bowl for Lucy to watch.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
So we're gonna rig the movie bowl this morning. 8223 Your favourite Christmas movie of all time. You can text us to on the Duttons text line 0480 1395. We've got a $100 unique Homestyles food voucher to give away as well to a random voter.
To preempt the inevitable argument, is Die Hard in it or not?
I think it is if people vote it. You know?
Well, it's up to the crowd, isn't it?
It's Chekhov's Die Hard. If you see a Christmas movie, it's a Christmas movie.
Luz has already seen Die Hard.
There's no point voting on it for this purpose because she's seen it. Exactly.
Yeah.
That said, if you just wanted to vote it as your favourite, we'll be our guest. 8223 or text us on the Duttons text line. There's a chance some people might vote for Home Alone, which was in the news over the weekend in a way because Macaulay Culkin was added to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and he was presented at the event by Catherine O'Hara, who played his mother in Home Alone.
Home Alone was, is, and always will be a beloved global sensation. The reason the reason families all over the world can't let a year go by without watching and loving Home Alone together is because of Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay, congratulations, you so deserve your star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And thank you for including me, your fake mom who left you home alone not once but twice, to share in this happy occasion. I'm so proud of you. God bless you.
a wickedly funny movie when you watch it as an adult. As a kid, I remember watching it, and people get hit with paint cans and all sorts of.
I've actually somehow never seen it.
Oh, really?
Never seen Home Alone.
The thing that stays with it is the random stupidity. But I watching it again recently. The whole opening period where they forget him and all the family together is actually genuinely hilarious, and it would all pass children by. It's very clever and very well done. The subsequent ones less so, but the original one was an absolutely classic.
Joe Pesci's in it, isn't he?
Joe Pesci is in it, yes. One of the Wet Bandits. Let's open the phone lines and get some nominations for best Christmas movies of all time. Chris, good morning.
How you going, guys?
Good, mate.
Good, thanks, Chris.
Oh, hands down, Christmas Vacation, Clark Griswold, absolute classic.
Yeah, that's our regular family watch once a year. Put up the tree.
It's a great film.
It's absolutely ludicrous. Sue, good morning.
Yeah, got to agree with the last caller. Actually, I don't like Christmas and I don't do Christmas and I hate Christmas movies, but I never miss Clark Griswold. That's sort of the Christmas ritual. We're sitting here all by myself with the cats and we watch Christmas Vacation.
It's so funny. One of my favourite movies in comedy history is when he's telling the story about, he just heard on the news that Santa's been spotted on air radar and Cousin Eddie's absolutely stunned. It's one of the funniest scenes in movies. Can't repeat it because it contains an expletive.
That's excellent, that line. The thing that makes Clark Griswold such a great character is he has that sort of manic, sort of familiar, like he's the classic dad who just wants everything to go right, and it never quite does.
Yeah.
And he invests so much emotional energy, and be it like in the first Vacation, like he spends months and months and months planning this trip, and only another 3 hours till we go and see the world's biggest ball of string, kids. They're in the back of the coach going, just yawning, rolling their eyes. Like, there's a certain relatable quality to it as a father.
He is the quintessential daggy dad.
Yeah, he is.
He just does the daggy dad so believably and authentically. Lucy's got some votes, I'm guessing. Morning, Luce.
Yes, hello. Would like to say that so far there are 9 votes for National Lampoons. 2 callers, 7 texts already. I'd just like to disappoint everyone and say I have seen it.
You've seen it?
I've seen. The only National Lampoon I've seen is the Christmas one.
Nice.
My dad made us watch it last year for Christmas, in fact. Thank you, Bill. So if anyone else wants to suggest other movies, please let me know.
That's all right.
We've got a few here. There is Home Alone, Elf, The Holiday, Grinch, Wonderful Life. Someone said Violent Night.
I don't know.
It's a slasher film.
Oh, okay.
I won't be watching that one. Keep them coming in. I've seen Elf. I've seen The Grinch. I've seen The Holiday thousands of times.
Well, you're gonna end up watching some film from Scandinavia that was made in 1960.
That's all right.
This is a rarity challenge for the Movie Bowl. Now, this is not the challenge of the Movie Bowl is you can nominate any movie and you haven't seen it, Luce. We've hit on a rare genre.
It's a Wonderful Life. That's widely regarded as the epitome of a Christmas movie, and I've never seen it.
Yeah, we've had 1 vote for that
Frank
so
Capra?
far.
Is that the director?
This is good. I'm writing this down as we go.
Where's Tom Duday when you need him? That's right.
Up
He's
in Brisbane.
We drove him away.
Dave in South Brighton, good morning.
Morning, guys.
How are you, Dave?
What about The Life of Brian for something a little bit different?
Lucy's already watched
Dave,
it,
I watched Life of Brian for Easter, mate. That was our other religious holiday I watched it for.
We have to come up with a different holy holiday for you, Lucy, at this rate. Maybe favourite Easter films.
Helen, good morning.
Good morning. Hey, what about Love Actually?
Oh, Helen, I can quote that back to front, that movie. I first saw it when I was 8 years old, which probably was slightly too young, but probably why I can quote it now.
You would have identified with the drummer kid then.
It was on TV the other night, and I was quoting it. It was a good time.
Thank you, Helen. Frank in Birkenhead, good morning.
How, mate? How you going, mate? Look, my favourite one was Miracle on 34th Street with Richard Attenborough.
Yeah, okay.
I think I'm not sure any movie gets played more often at Christmas than that one. That is on absolutely every TV service in the country. Multiple times.
Maybe we need to put it in the basket.
Could be. Alex, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen. It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Thank you. We'll vote that one.
Thank you, Alex. Luke and Craigmore, good morning.
Good morning. Lucy. Hey, how you doing?
Good, thanks, Luke. How you going?
Good. Hey, you seen Christmas Chronicles?
No, I never even heard of it. Oh, there we go.
Oh, hey, we got a winner. Hey, yeah, check it out. It's great.
Christmas
Dad's in
Chronicle.
jail. It's a great. It's on Netflix. Yeah, he gets put into jail, and it's about a kid who sets up video cameras to catch Santa in the act. They catch him in the act. They jump in his sleigh. They go around the country in his sleigh. They end up crash landing. He gets put into jail with a bunch of drunks. It's really, really funny. It's a great
All right,
movie.
Luke, we'll stop
Selling
you there
it,
because I think you almost told the entire story to Lucy. Andrew and Craigmore, good morning.
G'day, guys. It's a culture vulture from Craigmore. Has to be Bad Santa.
Oh, dearie
It's really
me.
Bob Thornton, mate.
I don't want to be responsible for making Lucy watch Bad Santa.
Now, that is a funny film.
Even, I think, even by my fairly low rent standards, that film crosses a boundary.
No, it's so good.
I think it's putrid.
I think it's fantastic.
Oh, no.
I'm out. Sorry. It's so good. Paul in Plimpton Park, good morning.
Do yourself a favour, boys, and watch It's a Wonderful Life.
We're getting a bit for It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah,
Excellent.
you there. Michael, good morning.
Billy Nye in Love, Actually.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, another one for Love Actually. Bill Nye, one of the stars of the film. Thank you. Let's give away a $100 unique homestyle food voucher. Is there someone that stands out? Luce, anyone you'd like to give it to, given they're all nominating films for you?
The first guy who suggested National Lampoons, because he kicked off an absolute influx, which was Chris, I believe.
All right, Chris, you got a $100 unique homestyles food voucher coming your way.
I can't believe I'm disappointing so many people by having seen all of these films. What about this?
So the one genre of film.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is why you haven't seen any other films, Luce, because all the films you watch are about Christmas.
But it's not like I get to December and go, got to put on a Christmas movie. I've just seen them. I don't actively think about it.
No, what this actually seems to be is just any random night of the week you think, I've got to watch a Christmas movie. That seems to be what we've uncovered here.
We have a late surge of Polar Express.
Polar Express?
The animated Tom Hanks film.
I didn't even realise that was a Christmas film. There you go.
This is amazing. The cross-section of what our listeners love is great.
I'm finding out that this is the one genre I've hardly seen. I haven't seen any of these films.
Gremlins? 2 people have suggested Gremlins. Do we know what film that is?
Nope.
Yeah, Gremlins. The little things you put water on them, they turn into gremlins. Yeah.
Has that got anything to do with Christmas, though?
That's not my memory of it, but maybe it does.
Well, keep sending your votes in, and by 8:20, I'll have a good tally of what I'm watching. Ones that I haven't seen.
It's all right. Keep them coming
It sounds
in.
like 2 obscure ones.
It sounds like it's going to be excellent. Thank you, Luce. Well, we're going to check traffic and come back with police and weather in just a moment.
Thanks, Will, and good morning, David. At Paraka, smash and Port Wakefield Road near Montague Road with heavy delays inbound. Breakdown slowing things up at Croydon Park this morning. It's on the north-south motorway near Torrens Road. And Leabrook burst water main there, Glenburn Road near Kensington Road, speeds of 25. You'll find cameras today at Flaxley Road, Mount Barker, and Great Terrace at Rosewater. Get your crew going away from conferences to sporting, special interest trips to school excursions. Flight Centre's Group Travel Gurus have you back. Visit flightcentre.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Wow, we're actually moving. Come on. Sure we can get more than 2 of us through the lights. Hello, we're doing like 50 in a 60 zone. Come on, mate. Oh, and then you're going to brake. Excellent. What is taking so long? Come on. Move, woman. It's green. Move. Come on.
Beat the heat. Keep cool with Fix Now, Pay Later options available. Book now. For great service guaranteed, call 1300 Automasters.
Hi, it's Hazel from Physio Extra. If you're in pain today because you had a big weekend on the footy field, on the court or in the garden, give us a call today for a same-day appointment. For example, if you rolled your ankle, try and stay off it as much as possible, compress it and add a little bit of ice. When you come in for your appointment, we might ask you questions like if you heard any sounds, if you've hurt the area before, or if you've done anything similar on the opposite side.
It's the extra in Physio Extra that makes all the difference. Visit physioextra.com for your nearest location or call for a same-day appointment.
Now, the secret to owning the best house in the street isn't about the house, it's about the fence. Carstone is an SA company with a bold reputation for premium quality fences designed to enhance your beautiful home.
Walk down the streets of Adelaide's best postcodes and you'll see their work. Everything from heritage fencing to smart contemporary designs, whether the solid walling, tubular steel, cast aluminium or timber slats.
Now, sometimes you know exactly what you want, but if you're unsure, let Carstone inspire you.
And remember, you haven't finished it until you've fenced it. View the gallery at carstone.com.au or arrange a consultation.
What is taking so long? Come on. Move, woman. It's green. Move.
Keep your cool in traffic with Ice Cold Aircon from Automasters. Fix now, pay later options available. Call 1300 Automasters.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. This is 5AA Breakfast.
10 to 7, walking outside, it is just a beautiful day. It's going to be a beautiful few days, it seems like. How warm it gets will be really the only outstanding question, and for that we've got Simon Timke at the Bureau this morning. Simon, good morning to you. How hot are you expecting today we'll get?
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Look, expecting a maximum of 34 degrees, and the temperature's already on the rise. We're up to 24.2 degrees in the city right now, after an overnight minimum of 17.4 at about quarter to midnight. The winds northeast to northerly to start off with. We'll see them tend around a little bit southwesterly during the afternoon, southeasterly in the evening. Temperatures around the suburbs, a little bit hotter over the northern suburbs, up to 36 degrees for Elizabeth today, and not so hot near the coast, 32 for Glenelg, 31 for Noarlunga, 34 degrees for Mount Barker. With those southwesterly winds coming through during the afternoon, we'll see not quite such a hot day tomorrow. A little bit of cloud around at times as well. 30 degrees expected for the maximum for Tuesday, and a fairly warm night too, down to 17 overnight. For Wednesday, 32, a little bit of cloud around at times too, but remaining dry. And then another hotter day on the way for Thursday, ahead of a change, 35 degrees. That change will bring some cooler conditions for Friday, Saturday and Sunday, and maybe a shower or two about the place as well for Friday and Saturday. 29 degrees for Friday, 21 degrees for Saturday and for Sunday, so much cooler over the weekend, guys.
Good stuff. Thank you, Simon. Simon Timpe at the Bureau of Meteorology. Let's head to SAPOL. Senior Constable Jen Cullen's on the line. Jen, this first item is a nice reminder of how well the road safety message is getting through, isn't it? 2 people are facing court after being part of a street race in the northeast suburbs.
You're not actually going to believe this one.
No, you know what, I might. I just might.
You might, but we couldn't believe it just this morning. But about 9:15 last night, police were conducting speed detection duties on North East Road at Holden Hill when they clocked a Mitsubishi sedan and a Holden sedan travelling at 167 in the 60 zone.
Unbelievable.
167.
167 in the 60 zone.
And presumably like side by side, like having a drag race.
Yeah, racing.
Unbelievable.
So we managed to stop both vehicles and spoke to the driver of the Mitsubishi, who's a 20-year-old man from Dernacourt, and the driver of the Holden was an 18-year-old from Findon. And when we checked the licences, they're both on their P plates. It's unbelievable. So they've both been reported for driving at extreme speed. They've lost their licences for 12 months, and they've had the vehicles towed from the scene. So they're going to go to court at a later date.
See what happens when they get there. Amazing. Jen, also, we were saying before, just a shocking few weeks in the history of the SA Police Service. Today, Brevet Sergeant Jason Doig from the South East is going to be laid to rest.
Yes, he is. So it's going to be a hard and emotional day for SAPOL members, whether they're currently serving or former members, support staff. I think everybody's going to have a heavy heart today, especially Jason's family, and obviously not forgetting how Sergeant Mick Hutchinson and Rebecca Cass, who both attended the tragic incident with Jason, are going to be feeling. So the service starts today at 11 o'clock at the Convention Centre, and it is open to the public, and we ask if anybody does want to come, and we encourage members of the public to come to just register their attendance at the link on the SAPOL Facebook site or the website. And then following the service, there'll be a guard of honour which will line North Terrace and King William Street towards the Torrens Parade Ground. But during this time, there'll be traffic restrictions in place for eastbound traffic on North Terrace and northbound traffic on King William Road. And the service will also be live streamed on the SAPOL Facebook page from 11 a.m. So Jason obviously died serving the community. So if you're in the city today or you're on your meal break, come down and stand with us and show your support and thanks to Jason, and show what a community South Australia can actually be.
Absolutely.
Well said, Jen.
Somber day for the police force today. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan from SAPOL. I wonder what point we're going to give up pretending that there's an ad campaign clever enough that will get through to the kind of drop kicks that are involved in 166k an hour drag race. Given the last couple of weeks we've had. When are we going to disabuse ourselves of the nation? We're just one smart, snappy education campaign away from these kind of idiots doing this kind of stuff on the road.
This is where, yet again, this is where the Parliament, like, if they think that they can give themselves a pat on the back off the back of the new laws that came in out of the death of Sophia Naismith and think that of itself is enough, well, it's clearly not. And, and the courts, the role of the courts. We need to look at the way these people are sentenced. It's a total farce. I mean, there's a story involving this bloke who cleaned up a former colleague of mine, Ben Hyde, on West Terrace, who's not been working since. For 2 years, the bloke who's been accused of this has been running some cockamamie mental health defence.
He dropped it recently.
He dropped it on Friday after 2 years of putting the Hyde family and all of his, his wife and Ben himself through all of that torment. And now now his lawyer, drumroll please, Craig Caldecott, acting for him. He wants the whole thing to be expedited. Let's just let's just get the show on the road now that he's dropped it.
Unbelievable.
And let's just wait and see what happens there. And none of that's an attack on the defence lawyers. None of it's an attack on the courts. It just shows though that the penalties as they exist, both in terms of their strength and their application, it's not good enough.
All right, let's head to the US. Miley Hogan for 7 News joins us. Miley, good morning to you. Kiss have played their final concert.
Good morning, guys. Well, they have played their final concert. Well, they say that it is their final concert. It has been named the End of the Road Tour, their final concert taking place at Madison Square Garden in New York. A very fitting place to have it. That is the birthplace, New York City, of this band, and they are so highly regarded there. Even the Empire State Building was lit up in their honour. Now, they played this concert. There were fans everywhere. And just at the end, for their encore, they actually had avatars play a song for their fans who were there at the concert. So even though they're retiring, it looks like they're teasing that they will have an avatar concert, these artificial intelligence versions of themselves playing all of their big hits. We know that's become kind of a trend for these big bands to do. ABBA's done it before. So even though this may have been the final time you'd see them in person, it looks like we're going to be able to see them with these artificial intelligence versions of themselves.
Well, that's reassuring. Although we note too, you use the word, this may be the last time we see them, Mile. It's a bit like Judith Durham, isn't it? Like they've had more farewells than the Seekers.
Exactly. They have retired before, and they came back out, so who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. And we were chatting before, this shocking situation with the US warship under attack in the Red Sea. What's the latest on that?
Look, the details of this are still emerging. They are really limited at this time. But what we do know is that it's understood that this US Navy ship, the USS Carney, shot down 2 drones. Now, it's understood the ship was not damaged during this attack, and there's been no reports of any injuries. The Pentagon has been very brief on this, only releasing a very brief statement saying they are aware of reports regarding attacks on the USS Carney and commercial vessels in the Red Sea, and that they would provide more information when it becomes available. But they did not go on to identify where the fire came from, who they believe is responsible for it. But later, Yemen's Houthi rebels, they did hold a press conference, and they claimed attacks on 2 other ships that they described as being linked to Israel. They did not acknowledge in this press conference at all that they targeted a US Navy vessel, or if they did. Now, the Houthis say the attacks on the 2 other ships are a direct response to Israel's attacks on Gaza. We know that the ceasefire there in Gaza has ended. Hostilities rage on. It now appears that Israel is focusing its attention on the southern part of Gaza. That is also where the majority of Gaza's population now is, and Israel claims that's also where the Hamas leaders are.
Great report, Miley. Thank you
Thanks,
for that.
Miley.
Miley Hogan for 7 News in the United States. It's 7:01. 5AA News is coming up. Host of big stories we're going to sink our teeth into right after this.
Get your home ready for Christmas at Coles with 20% off Christmas decorations like fairy lights, baubles and tinsel, plus thousands of other specials every week. That's great value, hands down, at Coles. Offer ends Tuesday. Excludes licensed collectibles.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. The National Tiles Cyber Monday event is on now. This is the biggest National Tiles online and in-store event of the year. Spend $4,000 and we'll only charge you $2,750. Or spend $2,000 and we'll only charge you $1,450. This National Tiles Cyber Monday event is absolutely massive. So go to nationaltiles.com.au now, but you'll have to be quick.
For nearly 40 years, no one has done certified used cars quite like Steinborner Automotive, with dedicated yards including SA's best range of commercials loaded and ready to go, including SA's only dedicated small car and SUV centre, and SA's only large SUV and 4x4 centre suited for any lifestyle. Steinborner still also has the best range of Commodores from ZBs to the collectibles. View all late model used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth the trip.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 34 with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Physio Extra for Locomat robotic technology treating stroke, cerebral palsy, brain and spinal cord injuries. Visit physioextra.com.
A 91-year-old man remains in hospital under police guard after allegedly murdering his wife on the weekend. The body of 85-year-old Maria Damasi was found at her Findon home on Saturday night. It's believed she'd been stabbed multiple times. Her husband, Frank, was arrested at the scene. He'd suffered non-life-threatening self-inflicted injuries. The much-loved great-grandmother was a well-known Italian identity whose family owned the Nonna's Cucina meal service. It's the 6th alleged domestic-related killing in SA in the past 18 days. 2 P-platers have been caught street racing at Holden Hill last night. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says they were clocked on North East Road doing 167 in a 60 zone.
We managed to stop both vehicles and spoke to the driver of the Mitsubishi, who's a 20-year-old man from Dernacourt, and the driver of the Holden was an 18-year-old from Findon. They've both been reported for driving at extreme speed. They've lost their licences for 12 months and they've had the vehicles towed from the scene.
And police are investigating an early morning car fire at Collinswood. Just after 4:30, they were called to Delanga Avenue after reports a Peugeot hatchback was ablaze. It's been completely destroyed. The fire is being treated as suspicious and inquiries are continuing to establish if the car was stolen. A US warship has shot down 2 drones during an attack in the Red Sea. The Pentagon's confirmed the USS Carney was among a number of vessels caught up in the crossfire of an hours-long assault by Yemen Houthi rebels. Former White House advisor Tony Shaffer says there needs to be a strong response.
The Pentagon's stated policies are going to be very precise and reluctant to engage militarily. I think it's the wrong approach. I think if you sit back and let the Iranians continue to kind of pummel you at the rate of 25-1, they're not going to be deterred. But at this point, the Pentagon feels comfortable pushing back on a smaller basis.
While Israel's vowing to continue the war against terrorist group Hamas until the organisation's dismantled and hostages are returned. A 7-day ceasefire lapsed over the weekend after Hamas refused to release 137 hostages. Israeli government spokesman Ilan Levy says only military and diplomatic efforts can secure their release.
There will be no one left behind. We will continue fighting to bring back the remaining 137. None of us are free till all of them are free.
The federal government's preparing to introduce new laws which would put asylum seekers who are convicted criminals back behind bars. 142 asylum seekers have been released into the community after the High Court ruled indefinite detentions unlawful. The new laws have been modelled on the high-risk terrorism offenders scheme. 2 major supermarkets will face a Senate inquiry to investigate whether they're price gouging customers. Coles and Woolies have faced significant public backlash after posting profits of more than $1 billion for the previous financial year. The first hearings are expected to be held early next year. Researchers are hopeful a drug used to treat type 2 diabetes could also be used on dementia patients. Emily Minnie reports.
Metformin is used to control blood glucose levels in people who have type 2 diabetes, but can also aid the ageing brain. Clinical scientists at the Garvan Institute are launching a trial to examine the effects the drug has on cognitive function, brain anatomy, vascular health, and early signs of dementia. The medication would be immediately available if the 3 3-year study is successful.
And the Gold Coast has pulled out of a bid to host the Commonwealth Games. The city's mayor confirming it's due to a lack of support from the state and federal governments. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderroll Garage Doors new Platinum and Native Series sectional doors are here. Gliderroll.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Let's start with cricket. Australia's gone down by 6 runs in the 5th and final T20 match of its series against India, meaning it loses that series 4 games to 1. Chasing 161 to win, the Aussies fell just short. Captain Matthew Wade says it was disappointing to miss the result.
Would have been nice to get the result tonight. I think 3-2 would have been probably a reflection of where the series was at. We played some really good cricket and got outplayed at times, but I think we learned a lot about some guys that came in and played international cricket in tough conditions.
Audio there thanks to Fox. To football, North Melbourne women's coach Darren Crocker hopes his players can bounce back strongly next season after losing the AFLW Grand Final. The Kangaroos went down to the Lions by 17 points in the decider at Icon Park. Crocker says his side can learn a lot from the Premiers.
5 grand finals in their history, that's a fantastic effort for them, and now they've won their 2nd premiership. We can learn from that sometimes your first attempt at it doesn't come to fruition, and I said to the players, you can actually use that as a bit of a steely resolve and bottle it and take it forward with us.
Joaquin Niemann is the Australian Open golf champion after winning in a playoff in Sydney. Minwoo Lee was the best of the Aussies, finishing 3rd, just 2 shots back. His sister Minjee was runner-up on the women's side. That event was won by South Africa's Ashley Buhai. To soccer, and Tottenham's broken a run of 3 straight losses in the English Premier League, playing out a thrilling 3-3 draw against Manchester City. Liverpool's up to 2nd on the table after beating Fulham 4-3. Chelsea beat Brighton 3-2, while Bournemouth and Aston Villa drew 2-2, and West Ham and Crystal Palace also shared the points in a 1-1 draw. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Drake supermarkets have dropped prices across a range of Christmas favourites to make Christmas more affordable for you.
Morning there at Pracker, smash in Port Wakefield Road near Montague Road with delays inbound. Croydon Park, a breakdown on the north-south motorway near Torrens Road, and a burst water main at Leabrook today. Glenburn Road near Kensington Road, speeds at 25 with the lane closed. Speeds reduced to Lockleys today, Hindley Beach Road near Rolls Road, and we've got cameras this morning, Moseley Street, Glenelg South, and Press Road at Brooklyn Park. Celebrate Christmas in style with Gazman. Enjoy 25% off all polo shirts and 25% off all summer shorts. Find the perfect gift for him this season at Gazman. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
When you've earned your dream bathroom, speak to Bathrooms by Design, Clovelly Park and Lonsdale.
Sunny and 34 today, partly cloudy tomorrow, 30. More of the same on Wednesday, 32, and 35 for Thursday. At the moment, 24. More news as it happens on 5AA.
City Discount Tires. Get saving this month at City Discount Tires. When you buy 3 Wild Peak AT3W all-terrain tires, you'll get the 4th tyre free. The perfect tyre for your next adventure. City Discount Tires are a proud multi-tyre and wheel brand retailer offering great service at great prices. Visit citydiscounttires.com.au to find your nearest store. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value. City Discount Tires.
If you're constipated and struggling to poo, here's some great news. Introducing Caruso's Constipation Ease. Caruso's Constipation Ease is a new herbal and fibre combination containing cascara, yellow dock, fennel and green banana powder. These help to relieve constipation by making it easier for you to poo. So if you're struggling to poo and would like to poo more, why not try Caruso's Constipation Ease? Caruso's Constipation Ease is available from leading pharmacies and health stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. This is 5AA Breakfast.
9 after 7, good morning to you. If you're joining us for the very first time on this Monday, the 4th of December. Lots of news to get to, we'll do that. But a couple of things we wanted to point you to that are happening over the course of the morning. Tom Jones, Sir Tom Jones, Yes, that Tom Jones. He's coming on the program after 7:30 this morning. If you're a Tom Jones fan, you're planning on going to his concert when he comes to Adelaide. Make sure, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you are tuned in after 7:30.
This is a bit of a coup, really. I mean, I know Tom, if you ask Tom, he'd say it's not unusual, but I think it's pretty unusual to have Tom Jones on the program. This is wild. This is big.
Yeah, it is superb. It is
What was
exciting.
his first record? Came out in 1963? Along Came Jones? Then What's New, Pussycat? Pretty good couple of debut albums there. I reckon a few of our listeners would have both of them in his collection.
Have you had a point in your life where you've been cool?
Cool?
Like, yeah. Have you thought I'm for whatever reason, the fashion, how I speak, the social grip I move in.
No, never.
Right.
Never.
At best, I think most people can achieve it for a very small period of time, if ever. Can you imagine being cool for 60 years of your life?
Yeah. No,
that's
it's unrelatable, isn't it?
It's totally unrelatable.
I reckon you and I are probably the same at school, sort of on the periphery.
Completely.
Yeah.
No, my life's gotten better the more I've just realised what I am, and I'm just a nerd.
Yeah.
I'm just a nerd.
Yeah.
I just now accept it.
Just get into
I'm totally
weird stuff.
comfortable with it.
Yeah. Completely.
Yeah.
Tom is in a rarefied space. And he's coming back to Adelaide. What about that? We gave the tickets away not that long ago.
He'll be on the show after 7:30. The other thing that we want to point you to this morning is our interview with Chook Fowler, South Australia's, until the weekend, last surviving prisoner of war in a Japanese POW camp. He died at the age of 103 over the weekend. Some sad news. But what we wanted to do this morning was replay our chat with him that took place before Anzac Day last year.
Is he getting a state funeral? I've been trying to find out. He should be. Surely he should be.
You'd think surely. His significance. Yeah, as I was saying earlier, if you go to the virtual war memorial now, there are persons of interest about which, if you search for things, they'll come up as having really fleshed out stories. He's one of those. He fits the bill of a prominent person as far as the National War Memorial is concerned. You'd imagine he'll get a funeral with all the trimmings here in South Australia, if his family wants it, of course.
Yeah, it's at their
discretion. So we replay
I would imagine
that
the offer
8:30
will
today.
be made.
I think so.
If we can find out during the course of the program today, we know that the government listened to us, and if any of their resident media people, or indeed the Premier himself, if anyone's on top of this, let us know and we'll relay it to the listeners.
We've had a horrific last 2.5 weeks here in South Australia, by one measure, perhaps above all others. We are now at 6 alleged domestic-related killings in South Australia in 18 days. It's one every 3 days. The most recent, Maria Damasi, an 85-year-old who was believed to be stabbed multiple times at her home in Findon on Saturday night. Her husband, Frank, is a 91-year-old. He was arrested. Detectives, according to the Times, is reporting likely to charge him with murder today. Here is the Premier speaking about Maria Damasi on 7 News last night.
Mrs Damasi was a generous, warm individual, a good person who's lost their lives in tragic circumstances that need to be thoroughly investigated by South Australian Police.
The last 18 days are the headline, but you drill down in the data, as the Tizer has this morning, and you find very quickly that there's actually just a trend developing here. Authorities laid 2,940 charges in the last financial year against people who ignored conditions of an intervention order. That represents an increase of 850 in a year and is the most breaches in a single year since records were published in 2015. Also, police data shows officers are responding to more domestic violence-related crimes, 15,045 offences in the year to September, up from 12,821 in the full 12 months of September in 2021. That's the sort of stuff that includes assault, sexual assault, property damage, blackmail, threats and so forth. By every available measure, domestic violence-related incidents are on the increase.
So clearly there are a number of things that are not working in South Australia. The politics around this is that the Premier, who has been trying to take a bit of time off, and understandably so, given that him and his wife are celebrating the birth of their fourth child. But he's sort of been half working, half not working over the last 10 days or so with everything else that's been going on with Charlie Stevens and Jason Doig and what have you, two deaths that rocked the police community and the state more broadly. So he's been back and forth. There's a huge and mounting case being made for a full-blown royal commission into domestic violence. after this shocking spate of deaths. Some campaigners say it's never happened before anywhere in Australia, in any jurisdiction. 4 different deaths in the space of 1 week, and it's now 6 and 18 days. He made some remarks yesterday, the Premier, saying he's not formally opposed to a Royal Commission. He's worried that it could be too slow and too laborious a process, and that something more urgent needs to be done, which is why he's going for a roundtable approach instead, bring in the key decision makers and what have you. Well, I think the danger for him politically is that if that doesn't look turbocharged enough, and if the changes that come out of it aren't dramatic enough, then it will potentially look like a once-over easy approach to something that demands something a hell of a lot more dramatic.
He was also out yesterday talking about the increase in the number of 24/7 chemists in South Australia. There will be 3 very soon, around-the-clock pharmacies that are aimed at, amongst other things, alleviating pressure on hospital emergency departments. Here is the Premier.
After having 4 kids, I can think of more than one occasion when I was ruining the fact that we don't have access to 24/7 pharmacies in South Australia. Well, those days are over. Today, we announced that 3 pharmacies in metropolitan Adelaide, North, South and Central, will become 24/7 from the beginning of next year. You wake up in the middle of the night and you've got a crying out kid, and you need that children's Panadol, you can go to one of our 24/7 pharmacies that the state government has funded to deliver on a key election commitment.
So the initiative will cost somewhere in the order of $2.5 million a year. Those 3 chemists, the locations specifically, the Chemist Warehouse at St Shopping Centre in Salisbury Plains, the Chemist Warehouse in Clovelly Park, and the National Pharmacies in Nord. Here is Vito Borello from National Pharmacies.
It makes sense because at the end of the day we all know that the health system is pretty strained, and the more services that we can provide, the better support the community will receive.
There's a huge part of the state that's not getting anything there. Like Clovelly Park, that's as far south as it goes. Not much for the western suburbs either. So hopefully it's the start of a bit of a trend, because there's a lot of South Australia that is well and truly not very close to any of those 3 pharmacies.
Perhaps the most disturbing image of Australia, in Australia, that you'll see over the weekend came from Ballarat, where dozens of men dressed in black from the National Socialist Network went up and down Sturt Street in the Sydney centre yesterday afternoon. They were led by a single unmasked man. There was another holding a megaphone, shouting "Australia for the white man" while they marched down the middle of the road.
Australia for the white man! Christmas good! Australia for the white man! Christmas good! Australia for the white man! Christmas good!
You can imagine how the people of Ballarat felt about this display. The Ballarat Community Alliance, which is a local community organisation, have issued a statement saying we condemn this group of blow-ins and their message of hate. We'll be raising the incident with police and demand a swift response. Neo-Nazis are not welcome in Ballarat.
Speaking of nerds, these guys really are the ultimate total ponces, aren't they?
Don't throw my lot in with them.
No, I'm saying this is to make us feel a bit better about our historic social awkwardness.
Yes.
These guys are just namby-pamby. Like, maybe there should be a law that you're allowed to be a Nazi, but you're not allowed to wear a balaclava. Because I reckon if you took the balaclava off these blokes, like, none of them would look like the sort of Nietzschean Superman. They'd just be like losers who are in mum's attic reading about, the glory days of the Third Reich.
The psychology of the balaclava fascinates me.
It's pathetic.
So there's an inherent awareness that what I'm saying is, like, no one agrees with what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not just there's going to be this fringe sort of PC woke groups that are. It's like I need to wear this because everyone thinks what I think is absolutely crazy.
It is just beyond demented, but it's serious. I mean, it's been an issue there. It's been an issue in Hall's Gap, and you've got people who have got criminal convictions who are actively out there. The same mob that Fraser Anning, the former senator, was trying to defend. Well, they're just patriots. They're just no, they're not. They've got to be monitored and where appropriate prosecuted, because how anyone can look at what the Nazis did and think, Might sign up for that.
But isn't that the thing? Isn't that the sort of the message? Look, we've got states now banning the Nazi salute out of necessity because there's been some saluting going on. We had it here at the Holocaust Museum here in even Adelaide. We had a bit of local weirdness going on. Sean Fuster's been covering it in the courts. It just feels like with every year we get removed, and every time a Chook Fowler or someone from that era dies, we lose connection with how grotesque that association is.
Yeah.
And it becomes not accepted, but it becomes less fringy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that just seems to be, now we've got blokes marching around Ballarat, dressed up, chanting things and wearing black gear head to toe. Well, it doesn't take long. The collective amnesia of the human race is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, certainly is.
It doesn't sound like we're going to have a Com Games, and we may never have another one. It feels like it's tracking that way. Gold Coast Mayor Tom Tate, I think, was the last person in Australia that wanted to host the Commonwealth Games. I don't mean as a leader. I mean amongst the 20-odd million Australians.
But hasn't he changed his mind?
He's now changed his mind. Well, he's changed his mind because he feels like his hand's been forced. He said over the weekend that he's abandoning the push because of a lack of support from the state and federal governments to make it a reality, which I guess maybe highlights the fact that his enthusiasm to host the games was largely built around someone else paying for it.
So do you reckon they're going to die?
Yeah, I do.
Feels like it.
Yeah.
Gee,
I do,
Andrews, his legacy's remarkable. I mean, you win an election based on promising...
I'll bring it to the regions.
First ever regional Commonwealth Games, then it doesn't happen. It's still going to cost Victoria $600 million. It's amazing.
It's utterly ludicrous. It's sad in a way, and I think it's part because we perform so well at the Olympic Games these days. We sort of see it as a second-tier event. But as I say repeatedly, the Commonwealth Games, we didn't just invent one of these secondary-level sporting events for our own edification. The Commonwealth Games exists, as do the East Asian Games. There's African Games. There's equivalents on every continent of the globe. Like it's not as weird as sometimes Australians make it out as this little peripheral sort of event that sits well below the Olympic Games. Having a second tier level of competition is actually entirely normal in the world, and in the world of sport and athletics and so forth. And the people that compete in those kind of sports, they don't get a whole lot of international attention. You get World Championships, Olympic Games, and Com Games. One huge component of the entire exposure of those sports now has been removed from the entire apparatus of that sport.
I do wonder whether, to wrap this up, it raises broader questions about the Commonwealth as an entity, though, where the common entry requirement for that is that you have to have been invaded or pillaged by Britain many years ago. That doesn't feel like a very 2023 sort of rallying cry, does it?
No, that's... if your argument is it's going to be a tough sell for the younger generation, it's a reasonable argument, I think. Right. Let's check traffic.
Thanks, Will. We've got a breakdown to look out for this morning at Croydon Park. She's on the north-south motorway near Torrens Road. Solid delays with the smash at Paraka at the moment, Port Wakefield Road near Montague Road, and Burst Watermain slowing up the driving too. This one's at Leabrook Glenburn Road near Kensington Road. Speeds at 25. Yeah, that's right. Cameras, Flaxley Road, Mount Barker, and Military Road at West Beach. Don't melt in traffic this summer. Get your car service at UltraTune, and their expert technicians will ensure your car's air conditioning is running smoothly. Call the search UltraTune today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
Let's talk about electricity prices. The Australian Energy Regulator says from June 2022 to June 23, market offers for residential electricity rose in every state. Just incredible, isn't it?
Weekday mornings from 9.
This wonderful market that only seems to benefit itself and none of the users at the end of the power switch.
On 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, we, the Lynn Andrews team, have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easier for investors and tenants. Everyone is treated with empathy and respect. It's the way we do business. It's the Lynn Andrews way. For residential and commercial property management, we're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
When you're gone, who gets the things most precious to you? Like your highly valued comic book collection or your 1976 Tirana in mint condition. If you don't have a will, you'll never know. Donlan Lawyers specialise in wills and estate planning, from the simplest to the most complex. Donlan Lawyers will give effect to your wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
If you've got an ache or any ongoing pain, don't put off treatment. Get your body feeling right with Physio Extra. They've got 6 locations, including their rehab centres in Marion and Nord.
Both facilities have extensive rehab gyms with the latest equipment, and Marion also has a private hydrotherapy pool fitted out with lifters for safe and easy pool access.
Marion and Nord also have got the Locomat and Armio robotic technology, which of course Locomat assists individuals with mobility impairments, particularly people who've suffered a neurological injury or conditions that affect their ability to walk. Armio is a similar device, but it benefits upper limb rehab for people who've suffered an injury or stroke or do have a neurological condition.
So this technology, together with highly trained professionals, makes Physio Extra the right choice for everything physio, Pilates, hydrotherapy and more. Check out their website, physioextra.com.
For nearly 40 years, no one has done certified used cars quite like Steinborner Automotive, with dedicated yards including SA's best range of commercials loaded and ready to go, including SA's only dedicated small car and SUV centre, and SA's only large SUV and 4x4 centre suited for any lifestyle. Steinborner still also has the best range of Commodores, from ZBs to the collectibles. View all late model used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth the trip.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
26 after 7. Time to turn our attention to sport.
Stephen Rowe on 5AA Breakfast.
19 schnitty Monday to Wednesday at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and Lighthouse Wharf. You just know it's a Barrow Hotel. Rowie, good morning to you.
Oh, Pemba, Will, good morning. The Adelaide Strikers have done it again. WBBL champions, back-to-back. They beat the Brisbane Heat by 3 runs in front of the largest crowd ever to a women's cricket game in Adelaide Oval. Hey, this team, I tell you, is the sum of all its parts. They're not relying on a star. They are humble champions. Well done. That is just an outstanding achievement.
Absolutely.
Certainly is. No, they've been brilliant, mate.
Yeah, love their work. We'll have them in today too after 4, so don't miss that. And Port Adelaide have notified the SANFL it will enter the VFL from the 2025 season. Now, as per their contract, they've got to give them 12 months' notice. They've done that. Look, it's been inevitable, hasn't it? They've wanted out for years, done nothing but make it difficult and hard to deal with. I mean, and I think that cuts both ways. There's too much compromise. You know what? They go with my blessing. Not that they'd care, and I say good riddance. No, I do. Both Crows and Port have added nothing to the SANFL cult other than compromise. And I'm telling you, I'll even go one step further. If I was on that SANFL commission, I'd do it effective immediately. Why wait?
Yeah, well, I
See you
suppose
later.
there's a bit of financial stuff that needs to be thought through if it's both of them. I mean, the Crows give $500,000 a year to the SANFL, don't they?
Yeah, they do. 400,000 to the SANFL for the right to play in it. Port Adelaide don't do that because they forgave their their commission back from the SANFL for player development. But we'll cover all that. Be interesting to see how and what the Crows do. Do they jump
that's
on board
it.
with
If Port go, do
coattail?
the Crows go?
They
That's
should.
exactly right.
They should. I reckon
Yeah.
they should.
Absolutely, they should.
100%. 100%. Anyway, we'll talk about that. Big show. See you at 4.
On you, mate. Good on you, Rowie.
8-team SANFL.
So, and presumably in the VFL, they're not the Port Adelaide Magpies, are they? They'd be the Port Adelaide, the
They'd be
Power.
the Power.
I do like, there's something vaguely comical about the idea of Port Adelaide being VFL premiers in 2026. More on the sports show tonight. $19 studio Monday to Wednesday at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and Lighthouse Wharf. You just know it's a Barrow Hotel.
There's naughty or nice, stunning and stylish, or tasty and tasteful. Merry Christmas, folks. I'm Brett Charlesworth, and they're just 3 of the eye-popping Christmas gifts we make for you at Charlesworth Nuts. They're all overflowing with our amazing nuts and chocolates and made with great pride by our talented South Aussie team. With 100 different gift boxes, packs and hampers, there is literally something for everyone. You simply can't go wrong. 11 family-owned stores or shop online. Why Charlesworth? Because fresh nuts taste better.
We're with Toop and Toop's Bronte Manual. So, Bronte, how's the market?
It might sound dramatic, but right now, if we could sum it up with two opposing terms, it's opportunistic and it's dangerous.
Wow, dangerous. That sounds a bit heavy. What do you mean?
It's dangerous because there's a real chance you can buy high and sell low if you're in the wrong hands. Some vendors will sell their properties too cheaply, simply because their agent doesn't want to do the hard yards.
And what about opportunistic?
It's the exact opposite. If you're getting good advice from a quality agent, you can buy well and sell high. There are still lots of opportunities to achieve a great outcome, but you need to be working with an agent who really knows what they're talking about.
To make sure you're making the most of the current selling conditions, go to toop.com.au.
If you love your home but you've never been in love with your kitchen, well, the answer is not far away.
Nope, just 15 minutes up the freeway, in fact, because that's where you'll find Balhanna Kitchens by Design. It boasts the largest kitchen design showroom in the Adelaide Hills, plus it's a family business with 35 years' experience, so they care about taking care of you.
And their expertise goes further than kitchens. They can create laundries, linen cupboards, robes and vanities, plus all cabinet installations are backed by a 10-year warranty.
Balhanna Kitchens by Design, it's not too far to go to make your dream kitchen a reality. See more at balhannakitchens.com.au.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 34 with the 7:30 news. I'm Kendall Bretig.
Try Locomat robotic gait training technology for neurological issues at Physio Extra. Visit physioextra.com.
The Premier's under mounting pressure to call a royal commission into domestic violence after yet another death in SA, the 6th in 18 days. The body of 85-year-old Maria DeMasi was found in her Findon home on Saturday night. Her 91-year-old husband's in hospital under police guard. Mrs. DeMasi was a respected member of the Italian community and cook whose family owns the Nonna's Cucina meal service. The Premier has committed to holding a roundtable with various experts before Christmas. Brevet Sergeant Jason Doig, who was shot dead in the line of duty in the state's southeast, will be farewelled today. A service with police honours will be held at the Adelaide Convention Centre starting at 11 a.m. The public is welcome to attend and it'll also be live streamed. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says it's been a tough few weeks for SAPOL.
I think everybody's going to have a heavy heart today, especially Jason's family, and obviously not forgetting how Sergeant Mick Hutchinson and Rebecca Cass, who both attended the tragic incident with Jason, are going to be feeling.
Two young drivers will face court after an alleged street race at Holden Hill last night. The pair were clocked on North East Road doing 167 in a 60 zone. The 20-year-old Dernancourt man and 18-year-old from Findon were both on their Ps. A US warship and multiple commercial ships have been attacked in the Red Sea. The Pentagon's Brigadier General Pat Ryder says the White House is aware of the attacks on the USS Carney and other commercial vessels.
We are certainly taking appropriate force protection measures to ensure the safety of our troops. Again, I'm not going to get into specifics. Clearly, this is an uptick in terms of the types of drone activity we've seen in Iraq and Syria.
The Albanese government's desperately looking to regain momentum as Parliament enters its final week of the year. Michael Packy's in Canberra.
Labor is scrambling to tighten migration laws after the High Court ruled indefinite detention is unlawful, allowing 142 asylum seekers out into the community, including convicted murderers and pedophiles. The federal government is proposing to expand preventative detention laws so they not only apply to terrorists but also some of the worst offenders that have been recently released. Under the revised rules, a judge rather than a minister would have to determine who's considered a threat to the public and ordered back into custody. It's hoped the legislation is passed by Thursday.
Firefighters are reminding us about the dangers of lithium-ion batteries. 3 people are in hospital after an explosion inside a share house in Sydney's Inner West. Fire and Rescue Superintendent Scott Donoghue says they believe it started after an e-bike battery exploded.
Currently being investigated. The cause and origin are under investigation, but there is suggestion that it has something to do with an e-bike explosion.
International Space Station crews have been forced to manually dock a resupply ship after it failed to reach the expected altitude. Staff had to remotely fly the craft by hand with a joystick to successfully deliver 2.7 tonnes of food, fuel and supplies. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderall Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderall.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Australia has lost the T20 series against India 4-1 after losing Game 5 by 6 runs in Bengaluru. Chasing 161 to win, the Aussies managed only 8 for 154. Ben McDermott top scoring with 54, while South Aussie Travis Head chipped in with a quick-fire 28. To football, Brisbane has come from behind to beat North Melbourne in a gripping AFLW Grand Final. After trailing the Roos at three-quarter time, the Lions finished strongly to claim a 17-point victory in the season decider. Lions star Dakota Davidson kicked 2 final quarter goals to help deliver the win, and she says she's over the moon.
That was unreal, wasn't it? They fight back from the girls in that last quarter. Oh, it's an unbelievable feeling.
Great effort. Well, Tottenham has showed some real resilience to salvage a point against Manchester City in their EPL clash this morning. Spurs twice came from a goal down, the match finishing in a 3-3 draw. The side has been smashed by injury and suspension of late, but manager Angie Postecoglou says that should start to change.
We're obviously still pretty thin in terms of the players available. We'll get Romero back, which is great. But yeah, we've got some challenging games coming up. But, I think today was important that we had a response in that second half. It'll give the players great belief that even against the very best we can compete.
Audio there thanks to Optus. Elsewhere, Liverpool came from behind to beat Fulham 4-3. Chelsea recorded only its second win at home this season, beating Brighton 3-2. Bournemouth and Aston Villa shared the points in a 2-2 draw, while West Ham and Crystal Palace also drew 1-1. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Drake supermarkets have dropped prices across a range of Christmas favourites to make Christmas more affordable for you.
G'day there. Smash to look out for a Paraka, Port Wakefield Road at Montague Road. Lee Brookburst Watermain slowing things up there today. Glenburn Road to Kensington Road got speeds 25 k's. Dorset traffic light at McGill Road near Penfold Road. Starting to get busy South Road at Edwardstown with a camera today. Moseley Street, Acklenelg South. The BMW demo event is now on with offers across the BMW demonstrator range. It's time to seize the moment. Ends December 31st. Speak to a BMW dealer today. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
When you've earned your dream bathroom, speak to Bathrooms by Design, Clovelly Park and Lonsdale.
Sunny and 34 today, partly cloudy tomorrow, 30, more of the same on Wednesday, 32 and 35 for Thursday. At the moment, 25. More news as it happens on 5AA.
We understand not all small businesses are the same. That's why Nissan Fleet offers tailored vehicle solutions for your unique business needs. With dedicated fleet managers available across Australia, we're your local fleet experts, providing quality advice, support and customer service for the entire life of your vehicle fleet. Visit your local Nissan dealer or search Nissan Fleet today, and we'll find the right business solution for you.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
But when I see you hanging about with anyone, it's not unusual to see me cry.
Our next guest has sold more than 100 million albums worldwide, has 36 singles that have reached the top of the UK 40 charts. He is a legend of the music industry, and most importantly, he's coming to Adelaide next year, Tuesday, March 26th. Good morning and welcome to 5AA Breakfast, Sir Tom Jones.
Good morning.
Sir Tom, it's an absolute pleasure to be talking with you. I can't think of anybody, apart from Mick Jagger, who's still with us, who could honestly say they've basically been there from the very inception of sort of, Elvis-era popular music right up to the present day, and has reinvented themselves so much. I'm not trying to age you. I say that with respect and admiration, sir.
Oh, thank you.
What's the journey been like?
Well, it's been fantastic. I mean, and to still be here is a great feeling. And I know Mick Jagger, and he feels the same way. He loves doing what he does, and so does Paul McCartney.
Yeah, well,
Paul is still. So there's a few of us still doing what we love to do, and it's great to be able to to still be in the business, and still be doing it.
Yeah.
Not just looking back and thinking, oh, it was great then. It's still great, and I love it as much now as I ever did. And I'm sure Mick would say the same thing.
Well, we had just had Paul McCartney here in Adelaide. You just enjoyed your 83rd birthday this year. What is it that gets you jumping on planes and travelling halfway around the world to still tour and still front live concerts?
Well, it's the love of performing. It's being it, because once you've been on stage, excuse me, once you've been on stage and you feel, honestly, this is the gospel, when you feel the love coming at you, from the audience, and they're digging what you are doing, it's hard to replace that with anything else. So as long as, I think any true performer would tell you the same thing. When you're used to that and you get that love coming, then you want to do it as long as you possibly can, as long as you can still do it, and as long as you're still getting the same feeling, which I'm happy to say I still do. So, I mean, why stop? I wouldn't want to, as long whatever time I've got left to live, to look back maybe in 10 years' time and think, why did I stop then? Why did I do that? So I don't want to feel like that. I want to sing as long as I possibly can, and as long as the people are there to listen and see me, I'll be there, because I love it. I mean, I really do honestly love it.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Tom, I'm 54, and my first entry point to your music was I'd heard your songs because my mum and dad are about the same age as you, so they grew up in the sort of, the swinging 60s when you're out there with your What's New Pussycat and all the big early hits. But I can remember when that cover of Talking Heads, Burning Down the House came out, where I think you partnered up with the lead singer of a band from Sweden or someone called the Cardigans. And,
yes, the Cardigans.
And I reckon for a lot of people, this is one of the unique things about your career, because a lot of people do their amazing early body of work and then just keep doing it, but you sort of just kept making really good stuff all the way through.
Well, thank God, my voice, is still capable of doing it. Because if your instrument is still there and you can still do it, why not? And I've always loved listening to newer things, as time has gone on. And I don't think I've ever heard anything that I think, because I like to have a go at it and to try and make it my own. When I did Kiss, I wanted to do it my way. And it turned out like that. Same thing with Burning Down the House. With the Cardigans, it's you've got to be able to add something to it. I think if you're going to do somebody else's song, you have to put your own stamp on it. And I've always tried to do that, and thank God it's worked.
Yeah. I read an article, Tom, this morning in doing some research ahead of this chat from November 14, 1965 from the New York Times. One of the first times, it might have been the first time you toured the United States. And it describes you like this. I thought it was a really interesting paragraph. In a trade not noted for integrity, he exudes a certain honesty, and it's this which appears to give him a wider appeal than most pop stars. Men actually like his singing voice. When young girls ask for his autograph, they frequently add, "Can I have one for my mum as well?" Is that integrity? Is that a reflection of your family and your upbringing? Is that just Americans being introduced to a Welshman for the first time? What do you think that is?
Well, I think it could be a bit of both, because I've always been brought up to respect. It's respect, respect the people, and I've always felt that way. If somebody wants your autograph or somebody wants to say something to you, then take it as a compliment, and I've always enjoyed it. But I love doing what I do, and so going to America was a fantastic step, and maybe it was, and I'm glad that whoever did that, whoever made that comment, was like what I was like. I would imagine that my personality was getting across, and that's something that I've always enjoyed, because excuse me, what you see is what you get. I am what I am, and I've never tried to be anything different to that. I'm a person that loves to sing, and I'm honest with it. So if I come across like that, that's great.
So Tom, since you first hit the airwaves and started touring in the mid to early 60s, you've always had a lot of fans here in Australia. Have you got any particularly redolent memories of touring here in the past?
Yeah, well, when I first came to Australia, was in January of 1966, and I came with Herman's Hermits.
Wow.
Excuse me. It was Herman's Hermits and myself, and I remember when we opened in Sydney, and the police, they saw the rehearsal and said, if you're going to move like that on stage, we're going to cancel the show. On my life.
Oh.
They said, we are going to view it, we're going to film it, and we're going to look at it, and if we think you're obscene, the tour, you're never going to do this tour.
Well, so Tom,
I thought, my God, that's the first time. That was the first time that I'd ever been confronted like that, you know. And they said, "What is that movement that you're doing?" And I said, "It's called the jerk." You know, there was a dance out at the time. There was a dance out at the time called the jerk, and this is on my life. This is true. And so the chief of police, he said, "So what are you supposed to be doing up there then?" I said, "The jerk." He said, "Are you trying to be funny?" I said, "No." And he thought I was calling him a jerk. I said, "I'm not calling you. I'm not calling you a jerk." I said, "It's the name of the dance." But he wouldn't believe me. You know, it was a brand new dance then called the jerk. But anyway, that was the first thing that I got that hit me, you know, before the tour started. So anyway, so they filmed it and they looked at it and they couldn't pinpoint it. I cooled it down a bit, mind you, but they couldn't find anything that they could say, you know. So they said, "Okay, carry on."
Oh,
so that was it. But that was my first taste of Australia. But it was a fantastic tour, and I had a great time. And I've been back there many times since, of course.
Yeah, well,
you'll get away with the jerk when you're here next year. Don't worry about that.
Well, I'm going to do the jerk so they can.
61 years on, hopefully the morality police will leave you alone this time, Sir Tom. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.
And we'll see you in Adelaide in March. Good on you, Sir Tom.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
How good was that?
It's going to be a great concert next year. No such legal issues with the jerk in 2023.
It's funny though. You think back; that was around the same time when the Stones played on some American chat show. I can't remember which chat show it was, and it was when they just released "Let's Spend the Night Together," and they were told that they could play it live, provided they changed the lyrics to "Let's Spend Some Time Together." I can't remember whether they abided by the ruling. I don't think they did. I think they sang "Let's Spend the Night Together," but the level of moral outrage, and that's like barely a generation ago.
But there's equivalent moral outrage today. It's just shifted, hasn't it? Just on other things you can't say anymore.
I don't know. I was watching a bit of Rage the other night and thinking, my God, like just that twerking stuff and constant, like, you know, back in my day, a video like that was closer to something you'd find in an actual pornographic magazine, and now it's just, you know, standard sort of hip-hop culture.
How many things in comedies you grew up liking can you say now?
Well, that's a good point, because the permissive part of it has become sort of let it rip. Humour, on the other hand, I mean, try releasing Derek and Clive's Ad Nauseam in 2023 and see how far you get.
My thesis is there's a standard level of moral outrage in the world. All it does is shift around.
Yeah, that's a good thesis.
You like that?
Hey, getting a lot of love for Sir Tom. Michelle on the Foodland live stream. Tom Jones, love him. Grew up listening to him. Love him singing with John Farnham, my Yiddish mama. Thank you for that, Michelle.
Good stuff. 0480081395 is the Duttons text line number. You can call into Duttons, Mount Barker or Murray Bridge, purchase a new or used vehicle and go into the draw to win $3,000.
Bit of breaking at 7:50. We understand that the Premier has announced this morning that he is going to bring in legislation immediately to specify the names of all of those public holidays which the Libs have spent the last 3 days saying the government's trying to abolish, namely Anzac Day, Christmas Day and what have you. My understanding is that with the Premier being on leave last week, he had no oversight of what was going on, which is in part an explanation for the fact that Labor didn't support that amendment to name them. He's arguing that the idea that the government had suddenly decided that, you know, a way to win the hearts and minds in South Australia was to go out of its way to abolish Anzac Day was never really on the agenda. David Spears has been all over the issue, but it's all
political cauterisation job today.
Yes, I think so. A bit like, you know, when a class has a relief teacher for a week, the wheels come off, well, the boss is back, and he's said, for, you know, regardless of whether it was a complete beat up or not, they're going to bring in legislation to explicitly name Anzac Day, Christmas Day, so that there can be no doubt whatsoever that they are well and truly here to stay.
All right, let's check traffic. We'll be back with more shortly.
Thanks. We've got a smash to look out for today at FIVEAA, Port Wakefield Road near Montague Road. Leybrook, Burst Watermain, Glenburn Road near Kensington Road. Got speeds of 25 there. And got a twisted traffic light slowing things up this morning. That'll do it. That's at McGill Road near Penfold Road. You'll find cameras Addison Road, Pennington and Mount Barker Road at Hahndorf. Pick up a better brekkie at Hungry Jack's. $12 for 2 big barbecue brekkie wraps and 2 hash browns paired with a barista-made coffee till 11 a.m. On app only and pick up at Hungry Jack's. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Get your home ready for Christmas at Coles with 20% off Christmas decorations like fairy lights, baubles and tinsel, plus thousands of other specials every week. That's great value, hands down, at Coles. Offer ends Tuesday, excludes licensed collectibles.
The sun is shining, so it's the perfect time to farewell hefty electricity bills and welcome a brighter future with NRG Solar. Unlock the power of the sun with cutting-edge solar battery technology that's backed by a rock-solid 10-year warranty, saves you thousands, and empowers you to control your energy usage like never before with a simple-to-use app. This summer, add value to your home and say goodbye to blackouts. Don't wait. Visit nrgsolar.com.au. That's nrgsolar.com.au.
Now, the best way to see our beautiful country is through the windscreen of a four-wheel drive, but if you want to get there, you've got to be TJM equipped.
Their Escape for Summer sale is on now. Don't miss your chance to stock up on all the gear you'll ever need for summer adventures in the great outdoors.
Get at least 20% off camping gear, from swags to awnings and shower tents, and 20% off all recovery gear like winches and recovery kits.
TJM Christmas essentials like beach towels, travel tumblers and cooler bags are 20% off. They are the ultimate stocking fillers.
So if you love four-wheel driving and camping, don't miss TJM's Escape for Summer sale on until Saturday, December 16. Chat to TJM's four-wheel drive experts at TJM in Nailsworth and Clovelly Park.
Now, let's see what's in the swear jar at Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens. Oh, wrong swear jar. This is it. From Martin the Tailor, affectionately known as Millimetre Martin. He swears you'll love his millimetre-perfect craftsmanship. And here's one from Rick the Plumber. Rick swears to always clean up after himself, guaranteed. For a team that swears to deliver on quality and service, see Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Local and experienced trade specialists.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. This is 5AA Breakfast.
708, happy to take some calls on 8223 and an issue that's come up over the course of the morning, or if you'd like to throw something new into the mix, we always welcome that as well. Mark in Stirling has called in. Morning to you, Mark.
Morning, gentlemen. How are we?
Good, mate.
Good, thanks, Mark.
This port into the VFL, cat amongst the pigeons again by my team, kicked off back when they rocked the boat to go into the AFL. Yes, it changed the sample, and it's going to change it again. I've got a big curiosity. My big curiosity is this. In the VFL, will Port Adelaide's undeniable 153-year history and 30-plus premierships now be acknowledged? And if not, why not? I don't know what you think there, but it is going to be interesting to watch.
Well, given the history of Victoria and their ambivalence towards SA's traditions, and we saw that when Eddie was heading up Collingwood, and you know his very obstinate view about the prison bars jumper, Mark, I wouldn't be holding out too much hope at all.
Well, you know what? It actually simplifies, I think, the history of Port Adelaide, because there's not longer this, the Maggie's history or the power. There is only the power now. Power's it. It's one club with one history, one series of premierships, one series of former players. And
what's the Magpies' heritage then? Is that just that's now what are you saying? That's a historic part of football?
No, that's Port. That's the Power. They're the same thing. The club changed its name and went into the AFL, and now has a VFL reserve side, as it was originally intended.
But all those SANFL flags are Power flags.
It's all they belong to the club in the competition that it used to be a participant in. Yeah, I think so. The VFL's funny. You look at the recent history of the VFL. I mean, who do you know who the reigning VFL premiers are?
No idea.
Gold Coast Suns.
Oh, that's right. Oh, they got a wonderful tradition dating all the way back to 7 years ago. Thereabouts.
Lee says great news regarding obviously the changing of the naming in the legislation that governs public holidays. So Anzac Day will be named. Lee says great news, power to the people of this great state. Thanks, Peter. That's the Premier, Peter Malinauskas.
Yeah, I got to say, I reckon the whole story is a complete beat up. There's plenty of things you can attack this government over. Is it doing enough about the cost of living? Is it doing enough about domestic violence? But the idea that a government was actually going to abolish Anzac Day just makes zero bloody sense.
No, the thing that...
and the other thing too, like for David Spears, I know he's out there sort of saying, oh, it's, woke PC, inner city, latte sipping. Like, in the same breath, David Spears has attacked the Malinauskas government for taking dirty oil money from the Saudis to fund the Live Golf tournament. So there's a bit of all things to all people here on this issue. I know it plays well on Sky News after dark, but was it ever really happening, I ask you?
Well, it doesn't matter. The reality is that they'd made actually a rare political blunder. Like, the Labor Party's pretty savvy in South Australian playing politics generally. It was just a basic schoolboy error to reject an amendment that says we want Anzac Day named in the legislation.
But the idea that Peter Malinauskas has now been prevented from getting his wish of abolishing Anzac Day is not quite like it doesn't make
no,
any
I don't think it was never going to happen. But
that's the allegation.
It was utterly stupid to vote against that amendment in the House.
Oh, for sure.
Because that happened.
Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah.
They said, we want to name these holidays to enshrine them, and the Labor government went, nah. That was dumb.
Which is pig-headed party politics where they thought, we're not going to give them a win. And now they've got to get themselves out of the put by bringing in the legislation themselves.
Exactly right. We'll get to some more of your texts on the Dutton's text line. Call into Dutton's Mount Barker or Murray Bridge, purchase a new or used vehicle and go into the draw to win $3,000 in just a moment. But first, 5AA News and a really nice breaking at 8 next.
Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. Right now, Toyota Material Handling is having a massive clear out of 2022 and 23 plated forklifts. Score great deals across a selected range of new Toyota forklifts currently in stock. Counterbalance and reach forklifts, walkie stackers and more. So if it's 22 or 23 plated, get a great Toyota forklift deal. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au. Get a Toyota. T's and C's apply. Offer ends December 31.
With help from Flurio Milk Company and the Udder Way, cafes all over Adelaide have joined the fight to reduce plastic waste. Instead of single-use plastic bottles, they've introduced the Udder Way's reusable 18-litre kegs. In the initial week, they stand to eliminate 1,500 plastic bottles. Together with other cafes, supermarkets, schools, restaurants, hotels and workplaces, millions of single-use plastic bottles will be taken out of circulation. You gotta feel good about that. Visit fluriomilkco.com.au for more.
Now, David, you're a few years off becoming an empty nester. Not as many as me, though.
No, judging from the state of the bathroom, quite a few years away, Will.
You got the deck done over the weekend, so maybe the bathroom's next.
I did.
Imagine a bathroom that's
I can't move today.
Not full of kids' bath toys or piles of teenagers' clothes or baths stained with hair dye.
That's right. I can only dream at this point, but one day my bathroom will be my own. So if you've earned your dream bathroom, choose Bathrooms by Design. They specialise in premium bathroom creation and installation, and all their tradies, including tilers, plumbers, electricians and carpenters, are overseen by one project manager, and all your selections are made under the one roof.
Reward yourself every day with a luxury bathroom thanks to Bathrooms by Design. Be inspired. View their designs at bathroomsbydesign.sa.com.au or visit them at Clovelly Park or Lonsdale.
G'day everyone, Cornsey here. Now, I know a great team when I see one, and the South Australian hydraulic team I rate the highest is BL Shipway. I've known them for a long time. David Shipway is one of the best blokes you'll ever meet. BL Shipway, they've been looking after your hydraulic and pneumatic needs since 1953 with brands like Ryco, Rexroth, Enerpac, Hydac, Oilpath, EasyFit and many more. And if you can't get to them, they'll send a Ryco 24/7 van to you anytime, anywhere. blshipway.com.au, a South Australian team you can count on.
I was just doing my job. I didn't think I'd get injured.
The doctor said it was a routine procedure? Right.
The car came out of nowhere and it smashed right into us.
At DBH Lawyers, we're here to listen to your story. Our team of local South Australian lawyers will help you navigate the law and find the best way forward. We're with you. We're for you. We're DBH Lawyers. dbh.com.au.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 34 with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Physio Extra for Locomat robotic technology treating stroke, cerebral palsy, brain and spinal cord injuries. Visit physioextra.com.
A 91-year-old man's expected to be charged with the murder of his wife at Findon on Saturday night. 85-year-old Maria De Marci, a respected cook and member of the Italian community, was found dead in the couple's home. Her husband Frank was arrested and is in hospital with self-inflicted wounds. It's the 6th alleged domestic-related killing in SA in the past 18 days. Mrs. De Marci was well known for volunteering in her grandson's kitchen, Nonna's Cucina, with the Premier among those paying tribute to her. 2 young drivers will face court after an alleged street race at Holden Hill last night. Abby Smith has more.
Police were conducting speed detection duties on North East Road just after 9:15 when they clocked a Mitsubishi sedan and Holden sedan travelling at 167 kilometres in a 60-kilometre zone. Both drivers were spoken to, with checks revealing a 20-year-old Dernancourt man and 18-year-old Findon man only held provisional licences. The drivers returned negative breath tests. However, they were both reported for driving at an extreme speed. Both men lost their licence on the spot for 12 months and their cars were towed from the scene and impounded for 28 days. They'll both appear in court at a later date.
A funeral will be held for slain police officer Jason Doig in the city today. The service at the Convention Centre at 11 a.m. will be followed by a guard of honour along North Terrace and King William Road. Brevet Sergeant Doig was fatally shot during a call-out to a property in the state's southeast just over a fortnight ago. A 26-year-old man's been charged with murder and attempted murder after injuring another officer. SA's first heatwave of the summer's here, with temperatures expected to stay above 30 degrees until Friday. Forecaster Simon Timke says we're heading for 34 in the city.
Temperatures around the suburbs a little bit hotter over the northern suburbs, up to 36 degrees for Elizabeth today, and not so hot near the coast, 32 for Glenelg, 31 for Noarlunga, 34 degrees for Mount Barker.
A US warship has been targeted by missiles in the Red Sea. Edward Godfrey reports.
The incident is understood to have lasted around 5 hours between US naval forces and Yemen's Houthi militants. The details are still coming in, but a Pentagon spokesman has said the warship USS Carney and commercial vessels have been targeted in the Red Sea. The Carney shooting down a drone heading its way while it was responding to a distress call from a civilian commercial vessel. During the exchange, it also shot down a number of other drones and 3 cruise missiles. Yemen's Houthis say they targeted 2 Israeli ships. It's the same group that hijacked an Israeli-linked cargo ship in the Red Sea last month.
There are major concerns for the future of the Commonwealth Games after Gold Coast Mayor Tom Tate pulled the pin on his plan to host the Games. He's blaming a lack of support from state and federal governments after Victoria abandoned the event due to costs. And Adelaide fitness queen Kayla Atsinas has married partner Jay Woodroff over the weekend. The Sweat app owner took to social media to announce she'd married her best friend and says they couldn't be happier. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderroll Garage Doors new Platinum and Native Series sectional doors are here. Gliderroll.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Australia has lost its final T20 match against India by 6 runs in Bengaluru, meaning they lose the series 4-1. Meantime, Dave Warner will play in the first test of the summer, but has been given no guarantees he'll receive a dream farewell at the SCG. Selectors have told the opener he needs to score runs against Pakistan or he'll be dropped before he retires. But George Bailey, who is the chair of selectors, says Warner is ultimately still in the country's best 11 players.
We get the advantage, I guess, of having a home test series and being able to sort of name a squad test by test, and not specific to Dave. I think all players, it's about performing and how that fits into the team.
Let's go to football, and Brisbane are the toast of the footy world after winning the AFLW Premiership. The Lions beat North Melbourne by 17 points to claim their second flag. In golf, Chile's Joaquin Niemann is the Australian Open champion after a brilliant final round of 5 under in tough conditions. South Africa's Ashley Buhai won the women's event. American Scotty Scheffler, meantime, has taken out the Hero World Challenge event in Bermuda, taking it out by 3 shots. The world number 1 finishing things off with a par on the last.
And there's the breakthrough at Tigers Tournament. Scotty Scheffler coming off one of the best ball striking seasons in tour history this year. Puts it all together in his 3rd trip to the Bahamas.
Audio there thanks to Fox. Aussie Jason Day was 11th in the 20-man field, back at 8 under, while Tiger Woods finished in 18th, back at even par. And in some soccer news to finish, Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham have played out a thrilling 3-3 draw against Manchester City, while Liverpool beat Fulham 4-3. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Drake supermarkets have dropped prices across a range of Christmas favourites to make Christmas more affordable for you.
Good morning there. Burst water main to look out for this morning at Leabrook, Glenburn Road at Kensington Road, with speeds reduced and late out of action. A smash at Paraka this morning, Port Wakefield Road in Montague Road. That's as you're coming inbound. Pretty solid delays there too. Another collision. This one's at Modbury Heights, McIntyre Road near the Golden Way. Slow going Brighton Road, Brighton. And got a camera, Brooker Terrace at Richmond. Top tech gift ideas from Supercheap Auto at exclusive club member prices. Grab a Gato 1080p dash cam for $139.99. Sale ends December 7. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
When you've earned your dream bathroom, speak to Bathrooms by Design, Clovelly Park and Lonsdale.
Sunny and 34 today, partly cloudy tomorrow, 30, more of the same on Wednesday, 32 and 35 on Thursday. At the moment, 26. More news as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. This is 5AA Breakfast.
7 minutes after 8 in the morning, and it's 25.9 degrees outside.
It's boiling already.
It's seriously warm. It's going to be hot, as you just heard Kendall say news. 34 today. Our best stretch of warm weather so far this season. 30 is the top tomorrow, then 32 Wednesday and 35 on Thursday. So 4 days forecast with a forecast top over 30. Friday will get close to top of 29, will be bringing a change with it. But right now, get outside. What a beautiful morning. 25.9 degrees in the city.
If you've got the day off work, or dare I say it, if you're working from home, working in inverted commas there, the temptation to hit the beach might be too hard to resist today. Not that anyone will be doing that while working from home, surely.
Very busy.
Why are we all working from home these days? Is it because of the pandemic?
No, because we found out we could. Which is the only reason. Technology is good enough that we can.
There were some figures I read last week. 61% of Commonwealth federal Commonwealth public servants work from home. 61%. We did a Breaking at 8 about that a few weeks ago, about how the CPSU were trying to get it into the award that you could give us more money if you sell some of the buildings that we used to inhabit as staff. But the head of the public service in Senate estimates last week actually said, well, they're actually starting to look at that.
Well, if you're going to make a saving, surely the taxpayer should benefit for once. I mean, it's a sort of a quaint, antiquated concept that maybe if a saving's made, it should be the people who pay for it that should be the beneficiaries.
You're such an idealist, Will.
Oh, I know.
You may say I'm a dreamer.
We're going to be chatting with. We're going to be playing our interview with Keith Fowler after 8:30 this morning. We spoke with Chuck Fowler at head of the Anzac Day last year. I'm just looking at his virtual war memorial entry at the moment, which is really. They do a collection, not just of his. It's not just the dry records. It is personal stories and things too. But it's been updated as of the weekend. He died of natural causes, 30th of November 2023, aged 103. So we'll be playing that chat in full after 8:30 today. Right now, it's time for Breaking at 8.
We had a fantastic time on Friday down at the airport. It was the 9th time, Will, that you and I have buddied up with Variety to do the Variety Radiothon. Now, we're going to need a drum roll here because today's...
drum roll?
Yes, in a minute. Today's Breaking at 8 is actually all about you, folks. It's about the generosity of you, our beloved 5AA listeners, not just the breakfast show, but all of the shows, because we were there, Matt Pantelis was there, Angie McBride was there, the sport guys were there. We spent the entire day in a significant technological achievement, broadcasting from the departures lounge at the Adelaide airport. Now, I think it's really important to stop and reflect on this, and the reason we're going to reveal the figure as part of Breaking at 8 is that in the midst of a well-documented cost of living crisis, it is somewhat remarkable that the 5AA audience, with the support of our major partner Cochrane's Transport, who did a dollar for dollar matching as they always do, to support the kids of Variety, alongside the other major sponsors, Jayco, Australian Outdoor Living, Adelaide Outdoor Kitchens and NRG Solar. So in the midst of a time where we've been talking about the extra work that's being done by other charities that we know and love, like Catherine House and the Hutt Street Centre, the evidence we're seeing about you can't get bulk billing doctors anymore, people are seeking urgent support for their power bills, you name it. In the midst of that, you, our listeners, still donated to such a generous extent that now I'm going to need the drum roll, Will. We came up with this figure. It's a very moody drum roll.
It was, wasn't it? Needed a symbol, didn't it? That's right. Desperate need of a symbol.
I felt like I was part of the ASO. $153,030. $153,030 donated, which, in the course of just 9 years, means that the 5AA Variety Radiothon, and these are the latest figures from Mark McGill, bearing in mind you can still donate, you can still go to the Variety website and donate today or indeed any time to Variety because it's such a good cause. But in less than a decade, you have now helped us make $1,103,000. So give yourselves a big pat on the back, folks. And if any reminder is necessary as to why we do the Radiothon every year, have a little listen to our chat from Friday with Michaela, the young girl with cerebral palsy, and her dad, Dave, about how much all of this help means to them.
I just want to say thank you to Variety for everything they do for these kids, and especially for Michaela.
Well,
thank you.
Oh, well said,
Good on you, Michaela.
Well said. You guys have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah,
thanks for coming.
Good on you guys.
Thanks for the opportunity to express what Variety does.
I was chatting with David off air before he came on with us, and he said he's so grateful for what Variety have done for Michaela. That he doesn't even wait to hear what the request is. If Variety say, "Hey, David, you reckon you can help us out?" He just says, "Yep." David, you reckon? Yep. David, can you? Yep. And he came on like the bloke was nervous as anything coming on radio, which is beautiful. But I
didn't think he was that nervous, was he?
Oh, he said he was.
Yeah,
and
he didn't sound it though.
But he did it despite that because he feels like he owes it to Variety. because they changed Michaela's life.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's great work they do. Great organisation. Love being associated with them. 13 after 8, the Premier of South Australia has just put out a tweet with regard to the police funeral for Brevet Sergeant Jason Doig this morning. The funeral, some of it is about details, and I'll get to some of that in just a moment, but the key part is this. The family, in lieu of flowers, have suggested to people that Brevet Sergeant Doig would have preferred if you make a donation to the Women's Safety Services of South Australia. So the state government has donated $100,000 to Women's Safety Services SA, who obviously was killed in the line of duty last month. The police funeral will take place at the Adelaide Convention Centre from 11 a.m. this morning. You are welcome, members of the public, but you need to register online to do so. There will be a guard of honour that follows on North Terrace and King William Road. The key point of the entire tweet, though, is that if you do want to get along, you're thinking of bringing flowers or something rather, donate to the Women's Safety Services SA instead. Now, we earlier this morning, the topic that has elicited the most text this morning came from our SAPOL cross with Jen Cullinan. Have a listen and you'll quickly understand why.
About 9:15 last night, police were conducting speed detection duties on North East Road at Holden Hill when they clocked a Mitsubishi sedan and a Holden sedan travelling at 167 in the 60 zone.
Unbelievable.
167.
167 in the 60 zone.
And presumably like side by side, like having a drag race.
Yeah, racing.
Unbelievable.
So we managed to stop both vehicles and spoke to the driver of the Mitsubishi, who's a 20-year-old man from Dernacourt, and the driver of the Holden was an 18-year-old from Findon. And when we checked the licences, they're both on their P plates. It's unbelievable. So they've both been reported for driving at extreme speed. They've lost their licences for 12 months, and they've had the vehicles towed from the scene. So they're going to go to court at a later date.
So 12 months they'll lose their licences for. How much longer will they lose their licences for when they go through the courts? I wonder what their sob story will be as to why they need it. And one
so we need
might
to
be
get
an
to
apprentice.
work
I'm just, I've got a sick mother. I need to be able to visit her. I reckon a long stint on public transport should be very much in their horizon.
Yeah, communicate a point that you've made repeatedly when we have these conversations, that driving is a licence is a privilege, not a right.
Yeah, totally. I mean, this cockamamie idea that licence ownership is some sort of human right. It shouldn't be.
No.
Should not be.
They're 22. We routinely treat people like this like they're 8. Like, oh, okay, you're a bit naughty, but I guess you haven't had time to learn life's lessons yet. You're 20. You're 20.
I know. It's just unbelievable.
This is interesting. Farming advocates want a supermarket inquiry to be expanded to include the entire supply chain. The parliamentary probe will investigate whether Coles and Woolworths have been price gouging customers after recording billion-dollar profits despite the cost of living pressures, or noise, if you're from the Reserve Bank and you're listening. National Farmers Federation President David Hinkie says it's a good start, but he believes the probe should go further.
This inquiry is about the supermarkets, and for us, we believe it's a bigger picture than that. We want the ACCC to have better regulations. We want to have more insight to the transparency of the whole supply chain works. We want to understand the pricing mechanisms and how, as farmers, we can make sure that we're getting low prices. The consumers also enjoy lower costs.
I reckon it's well worth looking at.
Absolutely. I think anything that looks at how consumers are being treated is a good idea, frankly. 17 after 8, we're going to take a break. We'll check traffic in a moment, the Movie Bowl, and it's a Movie Bowl with the difference because it's the Democracy Movie Bowl. It's been chosen by you on the basis of your votes earlier in the morning about the best Christmas films, with a couple of caveats, but we'll get to that with Lucy when she's in the studio next.
Thanks, Will. At Davern Park, car v truck on Peachy Road and Petherton Road. Monterey Heights a smash there, McIntyre Road in the Golden Way. Paraka, another collision, Port Wakefield Road near Montague Road with delays inbound. And a burst water main slowing things up at Leabrook this morning. Glenburn Road near Kensington Road. Busy, Brighton Road, Brighton. Slow, South Road at Edwardstown with the camera, Airport Road at Brooklyn Park. The McFlurry game has changed at Macca's with the Tim Tam Chocolate McFlurry. Rich chocolate soft serve, crunchy Tim Tam biscuit crumbs and delicious Tim Tam sauce. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift.
Right now, Toyota Material Handling is having a massive clear-out of 2022 and 23 plated forklifts. Score great deals across a selected range of new Toyota forklifts currently in stock. Counterbalance and reach forklifts, walkie stackers and more. So if it's 22 or 23 plated, get a great Toyota forklift deal. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au. Get a Toyota forklift. T's and C's apply. Offer ends December 31.
Dad's home. Hi, Dad. Daddy.
Kids, exciting news. You know that pool we've always dreamed about getting?
Yeah, a new pool.
Well, we've had an even better idea. We're getting a new driveway instead. From Adelaide Exposed Concrete.
Yes. We're getting a driveway. We're getting a driveway. Can we invite our friends over to play on it?
You sure can.
Adelaide Exposed Concrete. Best on ground all year round.
What do you call chef quality gelato? Well, you call it Gelista gelato. At Gelista, they begin by making the gelato that chefs wish they had time to make for themselves. The secret is Australian ingredients bought directly from the farmer wherever possible.
I didn't even know we were doing this ad, but I can say with some authority, not even being much of a sweet tooth, but I love Gelista gelato. I've always got a tub of Gelista gelato in the freezer. It's the quality with their attention to detail that makes Gelista's unmistakable taste and texture. Try the coconut and raspberry, peanut butter with chocolate caramel swirl. Oh, this one's really good. Ricotta fig and honey. That's one of my faves. How good do they sound, Will?
Not only is it a huge hit across Australia, but it's also now being sold to China. How about that? Why not get some Gelisto gelato for Christmas? Keep an eye out for 2 new flavours coming out of summer. For stockist locations, look on their socials at Gelista Gelati or visit gelista.com.au. Gelista Gelato, it's indulgence in a jar.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. On time, on budget, on the job.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
21 after 8. Our chat with the late Keith Chook Fowler coming up after 8:30 after his passing on the weekend, aged 103. Let's talk movies in the meantime because Lucy's just wandered into the studio. Movies are better at Wallace Cinemas, SA's home of big screen magic and entertainment. Visit wallace.com.au. We were having a debate off air before the show today about the most famous and beloved Christmas movies of all time. It's such a personal question. We thought we'd invite the audience to be part of the choosing of the movies for the Christmas-themed movie bowl this morning. Luce, good morning to you. There are a couple of caveats, though, weren't there? Because there's movies you've seen and there's movies you won't watch.
Yes, so the Democracy Movie Bowl this morning, of course, the fan favourite, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, I have already seen, so that...
Put a line through it.
That's gone. Love Actually also steamrolled ahead. Seen it so many times I can quote it, so that's also gone. In good news,
Good news.
there are 3 films that tied. So we are voting out of 3 today.
3, okay.
3 today. Now,
this is a first.
This is a genuine first. There's also no physical bowl, which is another... It's not a first, but it's just a factor in today. The 3 Christmas movies, please. 8223 0000. What am I watching tonight? Polar Express from 2004 with Tom Hanks. It's a Wonderful Life from 1947. Or Bad Santa from 2003, Billy Bob Thornton.
No.
I got a terrible, terrible feeling.
Oh, well, folks.
I got a really bad feeling.
Get voting, 8223 0000. But one of these is not like the other. Let's get voting. What's Lucy watching for Christmas?
Do not finish this sentence on air. What happened to Santa's face?
Am I potentially about to find out what that
You
means?
are.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's only the half of it, Luce.
Polar Express, It's a Wonderful Life, and Bad Santa. Which it's the first 2 are wonderful
Jimmy
Christmas
Stewart.
films that cover generations. The third is just funny, but it's really...
It's generally morally bankrupt, that film.
It's so funny.
I've got a few shout-outs to give that nearly made the top numbers. Christmas with the Cranks came in.
Right.
34th Street What's the
Miracle on 34th
yeah,
Street.
That one. I've just written 34 here. Planes, Trains and Automobiles and the Christmas Chronicles. So maybe a few Christmases in the future I will get to those.
All right, let's get some. I don't know whether to be excited for you or worried for you, Luce, that the votes have come in fast this morning. Vic in Croydon Park, good morning.
Good morning, yo. Yes, look, Lucy. Bad Santa. Bad Santa.
Thank you,
Okay,
Vic.
there's one for Bad Santa.
Sam in Theverton, good morning.
Morning, boys. Lucy, I'm Bad Santa.
Oh, no. Oh, dear. Sam, thank you. Sue in South Plimpton, good morning.
Hi, Polar Express.
Thank you,
Do
Sue.
I get 3 votes? 2 grandchildren in the back seat?
I'm tempted to give you 3.
Yeah, I'm tempted also. Let's give her 3 because we may or may not even win.
Helen in Glanville, good morning.
Yes, it's a wonderful life, and she can't miss it.
Good on you, Helen. It's a beautiful
Thanks,
film.
Helen.
Thank you.
Thanks, Helen.
Paul in Evanston Park, good morning.
Double me up for It's a Wonderful Life. It's a great old film. You will genuinely enjoy that. And you've got to make a point of watching Miracle on 34th Street.
Thank
Brilliant
you,
as well.
Thank you.
Good on you, Paul. Hard to avoid
2
that this time
apiece
of
for
year.
Bad Santa and It's a Wonderful Life.
Gary in Shido Park, good morning.
Good morning, boys. Look, it's got to be Bad Santa. I love to be an outcast and all this.
You're in the majority at the moment, mate.
Good on you, Gary. Kay, good morning.
Oh, got to be Bad Santa.
Oh,
Absolutely
Kay!
hilarious.
F2, Kay!
Superb, Kay. Thank you. Katie in Fullerton, good
Even
morning.
the women folk are getting amongst it.
My wife
It was
loves
so
Bad Santa. We watch it
but
every year.
it's got to be Bad Santa.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
Oh,
no, come on, Katie.
Listen,
come on. All right, keep them
There's
coming.
no gender divide in good comedy.
Let's see how many we get up to.
Quentin, good morning.
Oh, definitely Bad Santa. Academy Award winning.
You know, there's something about our audience and liking comedies, I think, at the end of the day. There's a lesson here.
Well,
Annette, good
I mean,
morning.
Blazing Saddles almost
Good
broke the
morning. I'll
machine.
try and save you, Lucy. Polar Express.
Good on
Thank you, Annette. See, Pole Express is now up to 4.
Okay.
It's actually
Tina,
up to
good
2,
morning.
Luce.
I think Lucy needs to be exposed to Bad Santa.
Oh, my goodness.
Exposed
This
is
is
a
a boil
right
over. Debbie, did we just do Debbie?
No, Debbie's next.
Debbie, good morning.
Lucy, pull the blinds down, close the doors. Bad Santa up full volume.
I mean, it is an all-time Billy Bob Thornton performance.
Yeah, so is this going to get me out of any kind of Monday blues that I'm happening?
In our household, that movie gets inappropriately quoted far too often. Shane in Brooklyn Park, good morning.
Yeah, Lucy, I think you're a naughty girl, so Bad Santa.
Now,
This is where it stop the fight moment.
The
Alan.
only psychological component of this that I'm wanting to, I wonder, is the movie so beloved, or do people find the idea of Lucy watching it funny?
It's definitely the latter.
Do you think?
Totally.
Maybe a bit from column A, a bit from column B.
Bit from column A, column B. I mean, it is genuinely
It's
funny.
a total boil over.
So 9 votes to Bad Santa.
Well, we made this was the Democracy Movie Bowl, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The people have spoken.
Is there a thing though, Luce? We've never had. Given this is the first time we've ever had a 3-way contest, could this be the first time where, a bit like the old show, Almost Anything Goes, you get to play your Joker? Where if you find a film too repellent, you can go, I'm out.
I mean, we have totally changed all the rules for this one. How many more on the text line? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 extra votes on the text line.
You've got to give the people what they want.
And you've got to watch it. You've got to watch it. I just want the record to show that I was vehemently opposed to you watching this film.
Which puts you
in a paternal type of old-fashioned, quaint way.
Someone's apologised.
Nothing to do with me, Luce.
Sorry, Lucy. It has to be Bad Santa. Bad Santa it is. The review will be tomorrow.
You are well and truly in the minority, though, David. Well and
yeah,
truly.
I am. I'm comfortable with that. I don't care.
It's really good. All right, thank you. It's 27 after 8. 588 News is coming up. Stick around, because coming up immediately after the break, a fascinating chat we had with Keith Chuckfowler when it was just before the Anzac Day in 2022, who, of course, sadly passed away on the weekend, but led one hell of a remarkable life. You're going to really enjoy this interview. It's coming up next.
If you're constipated and struggling to poo, here's some great news. Introducing Caruso's Constipation Ease. Caruso's Constipation Ease is a new herbal and fibre combination containing cascara, yellow dog, fennel and green banana powder. These help to relieve constipation by making it easier for you to poo. So if you're struggling to poo and would like to poo more, why not try Caruso's Constipation Ease? Caruso's Constipation Ease is available from leading pharmacies and health stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
In tough times, it's the simple things that make a big difference, like $19 schnitzel days at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. We know the humble schnitty can't fix all our problems, but we do know it'll put a smile on your dial. $19 schnitty, Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. Making the world a better place, one schnitty at a time. Got to start somewhere. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel.
How's the timing for this one? It's been a long time coming, but summer's finally here. If you have a pool, today is definitely the time to wake it up from its slumber and keep it looking to biz with a Walco pool blanket.
A Walco pool blanket will not only help keep your pool clean and warm, but also help stop evaporation. And let's face it, we live in the driest state, so a Walco pool blanket is a must if you want to save money on water.
Now, it's easy to put your pool to bed each night with a Walco pool blanket, especially if you have the Walco pool blanket roller. And the bit we really love here at 5AA is that Walco's the only pool blanket manufacturer in Adelaide. Yep, nothing is imported. I've got one myself. They're fantastic. Get your pool a Walco blanket for summer now. Go to their website, walco.com.au.
Thinking about a solar battery? Don't wait. Connect with NRG Solar and bring home a solar battery with a rock-solid 10-year warranty. Use the energy you generate during the day to store some for later, reducing reliance on energy providers and putting money back in your pocket. Experience blackout protection that'll save you thousands, all at your fingertips through a user-friendly app. Embrace 24/7 solar today. Visit nrgsolar.com.au. That's nrgsolar.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 34 with the 8:30 news. I'm Kendall Brattig.
Try Locomat robotic gait training technology for neurological issues at Physio Extra. Visit physioextra.com.
Police are expected to charge a 91-year-old man following the alleged murder of his wife over the weekend. More from Abby Smith.
The body of Maria De Masi was found at her Findon home on Saturday night. A much-loved great-grandmother, Maria was a well-known Italian identity and whose family owned the Nonna's Cucina meal service business. It's believed she had been stabbed multiple times. Her husband Frank was arrested at the scene and remains in hospital under police guard. It's the sixth alleged domestic-related killing in South Australia in the past 18 days. Premier Peter Malinauskas is under pressure to call a royal commission into domestic violence in South Australia. He's now announced a roundtable with several experts will be held before Christmas.
And the state government will donate $100,000 to Women's Safety Services SA in honour of Brevet Sergeant Jason Doig, who was killed in the line of duty last month during a shootout in the state's southeast. He'll be honoured with a police funeral at the Adelaide Convention Centre this morning. It'll be followed by a guard of honour along North Terrace and King William Road. His family's asked in lieu of flowers people make a donation to Women's Safety Services, which supports women and children experiencing domestic and family violence. 2 people-eaters have been caught street racing at Holden Hill last night. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says they were clocked on North East Road doing 167 in a 60 zone.
We managed to stop both vehicles and spoke to the driver of the Mitsubishi, who's a 20-year-old man from Dernacourt, and the driver of the Holden was an 18-year-old from Findon. They've both been reported for driving at extreme speed. They've lost their licences for 12 months and they've had the vehicles towed from the scene.
And police are investigating an early morning car fire at Collinswood. Just after 4:30, they were called to Delanga Avenue after reports of Peugeot hatchback was alight. It's been completely destroyed. The fire is being treated as suspicious. Coles and Woolies have denied price gouging, arguing costs are coming down as inflation moderates. The bosses of both supermarket chains will be asked to front a parliamentary inquiry next year. The Greens have secured Labor's support to establish the Senate probe. Green Senator Nick McKim says the companies will be asked to explain billion-dollar profits in the face of cost of living crisis.
One thing about the Greens, we don't take corporate donations, so we can take on the big corporates, and we think that Coles and Woolies need to come in, front a Senate inquiry under oath and justify their pricing regime. And absolutely, we think there is prima facie evidence that they are price gouging.
Firefighters are reminding us about the dangers of lithium-ion batteries after a unit went up in flames in Sydney's inner west. Chandra Llewellyn reports.
3 people have been taken to hospital after their share house caught alight. The cause believed to be from an exploding e-bike battery. Crews rushed to Annandale and extinguished the flames. More than 100 residents were forced to evacuate the unit complex. The unit was destroyed. Several fires have started this year caused by faulty or misused e-bike chargers. Fire crews are warning residents about the potential dangers of the batteries.
And Brisbane will cash in on the success of the kids' cartoon Bluey, which is based in the Queensland capital. An amusement park dedicated to the show is due to open next August. The multi-million-dollar park will feature a recreation of Bluey's Queenslander home, interactive play areas and a soundtrack inspired by the show. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Australian T20 captain Matthew Wade insists there are still plenty of positives to take out of the series against India, and that's despite the side losing at 4-1. The Aussies lost the 5th and final match overnight by 6 runs, but Wade says what he saw from some inexperienced players suggests the future is bright.
Ben McDermott's bounce back from his first game to second game tonight is the improvement we're looking for in younger players that get an opportunity, and guys like Jason Berendorf, Dorcius, all those kind of guys that came in, Sangha, had a real impact within the series, and you don't get harder conditions, as you know, and playing India here in white ball it gets quite difficult. So, yeah, they're all the positives that we take out of it.
Audio there thanks to Fox. Let's go to soccer. Ange Postecoglou has pulled the handbrake on Tottenham's losing run in the English Premier League. Dejan Kulusevski scored in the 90th minute to hold City to a 3-3 draw in Manchester. Postecoglou says he's enormously proud of his side given its current injury troubles.
I want to keep pushing them. If we can get through this period and we get some players back in the new year and we're in a good position, then we can push forward from there.
That audio there thanks to Optus Sport. Elsewhere, Liverpool's up to second on the table after a thrilling 4-3 win against Fulham. Chelsea beat Brighton 3-2 while Bournemouth and Aston Villa drew 2-2. West Ham and Crystal Palace also sharing the points in a 1-1 draw. And in some golf, Scotty Scheffler has finished 2023 with a win, taking it out by 3 shots at the Hero Open.
I played solid golf today, no bogeys, so I felt like when I needed to make some birdies on the back nine, I was able to do so on 14 and 15, and then I just played solid today and kind of kept my distance from the rest of the guys.
Aussie Jason Day was finished in 11th spot. He was 12 shots back, while Tiger Woods finished in 18th, 20 shots off the pace. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now onto the traffic.
Drake supermarkets have dropped prices across a range of Christmas favourites to make Christmas more affordable for you.
At Davern Park, Carvey Truck on Peachy Road and Petherton Road. Modbury Heights, a smash on McIntyre Road near the Golden Way. Paraka, crash there. Port Wakefield Road near Montague Road with delays inbound. And McGill was a traffic light, McGill Road near Penfold Road. If your camera's about early today, you'll find them Alexandrina Road at Mount Barker and Brooker Terrace at Richmond. Don't let joint pain or injuries get in the way of your sporting goals. Bauerfein's range of sports compression and supports can help. Call 13-KNEES or go to 13knees.com.au today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
When you've earned your dream bathroom, speak to Bathrooms by Design, Clovelly Park and Lonsdale.
A sunny day heading for 34, partly cloudy tomorrow 30, more of the same for Wednesday 32 and 35 for Thursday. At the moment 28. More news as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
It's fantastic to talk to you, mate. And as we were saying at the start, you're now 101 years old, and it's so important that Australians, particularly younger Australians, get to hear the story of your service.
My service is just a normal service of a private, as I was told. We went where we were told to go, and we did what we were told to do. That was our job as soldiers. We trained for it. We did our initial trainments at Warradale, at Oakbank, and we were prepared to fight the enemy. That was the whole situation. We had sergeants, corporals, lance corporals, lieutenant colonels, etc. But the back bases of it all were we privates.
Keith, can I ask? I I was honoured about 15 years ago to attend a dawn service at Hellfire Pass on the Thai Burma Railway. I travelled there with John Howard.
That was at Connew.
That's right. The heat of that morning, just being there on a normal day as a civilian, I struggled to imagine what it must have been like for men such as you who were there.
Well, it was tropical heat. Fortunately, I think as time went on, when we were getting starved and our brains weren't operating as they should, we became what we call a jungle scare. We just sort of went in and out, did our work, and very little conversation. We were all gradually getting weaker and weaker. That was a procedure that was gradually taking place all the time, and you were just gradually getting weaker and weaker.
I know you got injured and then you got malaria, but you were treated by the great Weary Dunlop. What do you remember of Weary Dunlop?
Oh, I certainly do. I got cystitis of the bladder too, and don't I remember Weary Dunlop. I won't go into that. But I had an occasion when we come in from work one night. It was around about 8, 9 o'clock at night, and the cook that we had, he always used to cook up a 4-gallon bucket of tea. As usual, it'd be misty rain all day, but it was my turn to pick it up this night. And of course, you're barefooted, and they had a concave dug out in the. This is an upper Hintock, by the way, and this was to drain the water off the camp. Anyway, I went down to get it. Got down there okay, but being barefoot with a 4-gallon bucket of water, I slipped, and the whole contents went over my legs. Consequently, they thought I'd lose them because of ulcers straight away. But that wasn't the story. Within 2.5 weeks, they had healed up. Wow. But this was the treatment that you got from Weary Dunlop and the doctors. The Australian doctors were ace high. They did a wonderful job, and the people that with Dr. Dunlop, they did a mighty job. It was the same. I'm trying to think of the other doctor who came from Queensland. I know it quite well. It'll come to me. So I had an occasion, as you say, with malaria. I won't go into all these little details because people don't believe me. But I had occasions where I believed that things were happening. They weren't out of the ordinary. I was being saved. Somebody was helping me. Wasn't from on earth, I can tell you. So they were so continuous, and the way they transpired, and that was amazing. But it stopped me from dying. Like for instance, we had a Major Woods. He was an engineer, and Dr. Dunlop and Major Woods, they approached the Japs as they'd found a spring up in the hills. They said could they build a spring from the bamboo, so that the boys could have a decent shower when they came in. Be icy cold, but it would have been terrific. So they agreed to it, and it was because of that shower I'm here today. Because of an incident where a chappie by the name of Red Sheedy, who was a sergeant orderly of the battalion, from out of the blue, he came up beside me and took me up a hillside for unknown reason. I never knew him. I never knew him from a bar of soap. Took me up there and he made me lay down there till about 8 o'clock at night when the troops coming in. But the consequences of that was that I caught malaria. And I had a temperature of 107.3 and still rising. And I was just about getting delirious when I heard Dunlop say to Dr. I nearly had it then. The only thing we can do is tie him under the shower. And this is what I did. And I sat under the shower all the icy cold night, and my temperature was about 0.5 degree below normal when they came to me in the morning. So through that spring being found, the Japs giving them the okay, I'm here today.
Wow. Keith, was the treatment by the Japanese soldiers particularly brutal? I read one interview you did on the Australian War Memorial website talking about one occasion where you thought that one of the Japanese troops, one of your captors, was going to attack you with a bayonet, and you just stared back at him.
That was an occasion where there was Ralph Nassar and Laurie McInerney. another chap, he was, his name will come, but there were four of us were all together, and this was I think it was bicycle camp, don't quote me, I'm not too sure of it, but there was a camp on each side of the main road. We were sitting on our bunks, we were, before we went away up to the line, and we were on this rise and what have you and that by now, and it was pretty stagnant. Anyway, we're sitting there, and Ralph Bassam was the other chap. He was married to the daughter, Crowhurst's daughter. Anyway, we sort of said, well, what the hell can we do with this rice? It's so shocking taste. It was just like watery white water. So anyway, we decided to drain the water off it. What rice was there, we try and roll it up into a little ball and try and roast it. And then come the big problem of, well, what are you going to roast it of? And that's when by about 18 years, I was assigned the position of gathering the wood, putting the tin, gathering the stones, and they had the matches in which I would light the fire. And by doing so, I had to cook the duvas, which we called them. This I did. I cooked Ralph's, I cooked Laurie's, I cooked my own, and we were eating them. And Cliff Orchard, who ran a tyre service in I think it was, he wasn't very well at the time, and he'd been laying down, and he woke up, he saw us just at the last moment when I was eating mine. He said, what are you eating? I said, duvas. He said, what are duvas? I said, something we just made up. And he said, well, you make some for me. I said, yeah, righto. So we made them up, so I went out and I lit the fire and got the fire going again and got them over, and they were almost cooked when a rock about 8 inches in diameter missed my nose by a cigarette paper and went flat, bang, right in the middle. Poor old Cliff's duvas. So no. He had no lunch. I scrambled. I wondered what the Hanover was going on the other side of the fence. I didn't know they had a guard walk because of the sort of a creek there. Didn't even know they had a path there. Anyway, I wasn't aware that you weren't allowed to light a fire in any case. Anyway, I went in and saw Cliff. I said, well, if you want your lunch, you better go out there and scrape it off the ground. Anyway, consequent to that, we were back on our bunks talking one thing and another. Nothing more was said about it. And then the next thing, about a quarter of an hour later, we got a call that we all had to parade outside, which we duly did. Doctor, what's his name? Oh, God, I wish I remember his name. He was a SMO at the FIVEAA for a while there. He was our battalion doctor. Anyway, he was there with a sergeant and a lieutenant from the Japanese army, and they were having a bit of a talk, and then Doctor started up. He said, well, I've been told by the lieutenant that there's been a fire lit in the camp, and they want the man who lit the fire to step forward. Well, everything twitched on me, I can tell you. And I thought, well, there's no way I'm stepping forward. So we all stood fast, nobody moved. So once again, there was a conference, but the next one wasn't so easy because doctors, oh God, I wish I remember his
It'll
name.
come to you the moment we stop talking.
He said, I've now been informed if the man doesn't step forward who lit that fire, they will start shooting them from the front rank down until each man is shot until such time as he does. So I had no alternative. I had to step out. So they led me to the middle of the road, which went through the first, and there was a captain back. He came out to see what it was all about. They had an English interpreter there. What he said to the Jap sergeant, I don't know, because he went further berserk. Anyway, the sergeant was there, and the lieutenant had to talk to the sergeant, and the sergeant worked himself up, and he told Captain Black he had to belt me over the ear. And, of course, he refused. So without realising I wasn't watching him, he let drive and he hit me on the left ear and he knocked my head off his shoulders. So anyway, he come to, so I said to Black, I said, look, if you're going to do it, clench your fist, give me one good smack and I'll go down. But he did quite, and every time he gave me a hit, the sergeant tried to, by this time I could help ride the punch, But by the time the two of them had finished, I was completely punch drunk. I walked around the counter in a daze for about a day, I reckon. Anyway, he worked himself up in a frenzy, and he had his rifle down by his side. Then somebody brought it up and it come to my blinking throat. I thought, oh, God. And then I went blank. I had no feeling. I knew nothing. I just went blank. And he looked at it, and something out of the said to me, look him in the eye. And I'm saying to myself, no way am I looking him in the eye. You'll only get worse. It can't get much worse than what it is. But we looked, and my eyes went up, and we met, and we looked, I suppose, for about 5 or 6 seconds. He put his rifle down and marched off.
Wow.
And that was it. I'm still here today.
It's an amazing story.
Come to Adelaide, and I, being stupid, didn't see what they do, kiss the ground. Anyway, it was strange with me because I had no feeling as though I just felt I'd only been away for a fortnight. I had no feelings of the POW life or nothing whatsoever as soon as I hit that ground. For some reason, I don't know why. Whether it was taken away from me for my own benefit, I don't know. But for 6 years, I went along quite tidily and had children, and then all of a sudden, I was hit like a thunderbolt. The whole show of the POW life just covered me from tip to toe, brain and everything. I was a complete lunatic. And my poor wife and the kids, I felt so sorry for them. But there was nothing I could do at that stage. I wasn't having any treatment until I saw Dr. Dibden, who was a psychiatrist at Keswick. And I was interviewed with him 2 or 3 times, and then I had a job at Dorset. I didn't know now by now gone, and I was never trained for a clerk, but I put in to be one of the Commonwealth Government. You've got to be cheeky. And I got the job, and I was a clerk handling all the notes from outpatients and Door Park, the hospitalisation. And this day I was handling the notes, and I read all these notes. I hadn't looked at the name. It says, I consider this to be a decent type of chap. I feel he'd do very well with psychotherapy. Oh, well, there's some lucky bloke, I thought. So I went to get his file. When I picked it up, it was my own file. So that changed my life because I thought, yeah, here's a specialist, here's a doctor. He's talked to me and he considers me and the way I've been acting, I'm not a decent bloke, not by a long chalk. Anyway, I did psychotherapy, and it's a simple training. It's a simple thing is that when all these thoughts from your treatment and what have you and all the things that happen to you come into your mind, you had to immediately think of something pleasant, something different altogether and pushing it out of your mind. It took me about 10 months to where I could get to the stage that it automatically happens, and that's what happens now. That's why I'm never so unhappy now. I'm always happy. As soon as anything nasty comes into my mind, I just shove it aside. It just goes. And that's what happened. Unfortunately, it proved effective, and I've had a wonderful life ever since until my poor wife died. My dear wife died in 2009. But it was strange to see these things all happen to me. Why? I don't know. I don't know. It's because they dropped me on my head when I was 2.5 years of age. I don't know. There's somebody upstairs who's a bit sorry for me.
Well, Keith,
never mind. I've got by. I've had a good life. I wouldn't change it for anything.
Good on you, Keith.
And I was so. I mean, and as hard as the POW life was concerned, I've also made that as a statement. I feel it was something that had to be done to me to make a man of me. And that's the way I've accepted it. I've also had a trip back to Japan with Jack Thomas. Oh, terrific bloke. It's only the 2 of us left out of the battalion. Now it only leaves me. But Jack was a man and a half. But we went to Japan through the POW show in Japan and here in Australia. And they couldn't have been more wonderful to us over there than if they tried and tried and tried. They gave us the most wonderful time. They were most sympathetic. They told us that they had no news whatsoever what was going on during the war.
Hey, Keith, we can't thank you enough, not just for sharing your story.
That's okay. That's just a little story. So, if it makes anybody happy or if anybody's interested, well, I'm happy I've done it.
Yeah, well, we can't thank you enough.
Okay, boys, thank you very much.
That's Keith Fowler. We recorded that chat before Anzac Day in 2022. Just a remarkable human being that passed away over the weekend, aged 103. We're going to check traffic and come back to wrap it all up in just a moment.
At Davern Park, Carvey Truck on Peachy Road at Petherton Road. Modbury Heights, a smash at McIntyre Road near the Golden Way. Paraka, smash ahead to Port Wakefield Road near Montague Road with delays inbound. And McGill, twisted traffic light, McGill Road near Penfold Road. If your camera's out this morning, you'll find them Tapley's Hill Road, Glenorg North, and Victoria Road at Mount Parker. Experience a luxury BMW electric vehicle without the luxury car tax. Own your dream BMW electric vehicle today. Conditions apply. Search BMW electric to learn more. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
On 5AA mornings, a scourge of domestic violence. 5 women now having lost their lives over a few short weeks in South Australia. We'll look at that issue. And Emmanuel Macron throws his support behind a nuclear industry in Australia at the COP28 Climate Change Conference in Dubai. Those topics and a lot more. Your calls included, of course. I'm Matthew Pantelis, looking forward to your company from 9.
It's a frightening thought. But what if you lost the capacity to manage your financial affairs? If you're not at the helm, who makes medical or health decisions? Who controls the family trust? From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers will answer your questions and help carry out your wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com. That's donlanlawyers.com. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
Remember when milk came in bottles? I mean real glass bottles. It somehow tasted better and it was better for the planet. That's why the Fluorio Milk Company have partnered with the Udder Way to bring you milk in a glass bottle. The reduction in single-use plastic bottles will be phenomenal. In the millions. Join the fight to reduce plastic and look for milk refill stations in your supermarket. Thanks to Fluorio Milk Company and the Udder Way. Visit fluoriomilkco.com.au for more.
Every year, families all over Adelaide enjoy the festive season with Chanellas because they make it so easy to entertain guests.
With Chanellas, there's no running around. They do it all for you. Just jump online and place your order. It is that easy.
Now, everyone knows Chanellas are the masters of platters. Hot or cold, grazing boxes, arancini and schnitzel platters, cheese, fruit platters, so much more, including continental cakes, cannoli, tiramisu, zeppoles, the list goes on, and it's so easy to order online.
And remember, with Chanellas, everything is lovingly made in-house from scratch by their chefs and patisserie chefs. So get your Christmas orders in now. Call it a 62 Prospect Road, Prospect, or go online at chanellasmarket.com.au. That's chanellasmarket.com.au. Chanellas, best and fresh. It's a way of life this Christmas.
Tired of your rent and bills going up and up and up? Pump them down with EcoVantage. It's easy to switch your existing hot water system for an energy-efficient heat pump, even if you're renting. And thanks to federal and state government-facilitated subsidies, it could cost as little as $0. Start saving hundreds off your water heating costs. Hit up your landlord and ask for the EcoVantage switch. Visit ecovantage.com.au. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. This is 5AA Breakfast.
3 to 9, Fuel Watch, thanks to the excellent RAA, their free app. You can use it and download it today to check where all the cheap spots are. There are a couple of cheap spots around the place. One really stands out. The OTR 5H Drive Pasadena is at $1.85.7. The OTR Military Road West Beach is $1.92.5. The cheapest, though, the Liberty Hampstead Road Clearview is $1.69.5. The cheapest diesel is the United Hanson Road Woodville North at $1.83.5. We've been having a lot of fun with Michael Keelan's 12 Days of Christmas. We've got a hamper thanks to Frederick Street Finest today that we'd like to give away from this fantastic Adelaide business to the first caller through on 8223 0055. A Frederick Street Finest hamper. You can look for Frederick Street Finest in the fancy blue packet at your local Drake supermarket, devoted to excellence.
Absolutely fantastic stuff, the old Frederick Street. I was at the factory myself only a couple of weeks ago. Really glad and heartened to see a lot of positive feedback too about the Chook Fowler interview that we played. Hard to wrap your head around the fact that he's the last of those men.
That's right.
In South Australia.
The last known South Australian prisoner of war and a Japanese prisoner of war.
I mean, there might be some guy who's never spoken about
That's
it.
possible.
And when you hear the demons which eventually caught up with Chook when he talks about how like he says, I was a lunatic, and apologising to his family, not that he had to, not that he should, but talking about the toll that it took on him, just amazing.
That's all from us this morning. Stick around for Matt Pantelis. Have more of this, more on the brouhaha that looks like it's now entirely political. It's not going to materialise in the cancellation of Anzac Day anytime soon. But on this debate about the naming of the days, the public holidays and the legislation about which we provided you some background this morning, having chatted with the Premier. More on that coming up with Matt Pantelis next.
Get your home ready for Christmas at Coles with 20% off Christmas decorations like fairy lights, baubles and tinsel, plus thousands of other specials every week. That's great value, hands down, at Coles.